Kick it off.
There we go.
Beautiful.
Welcome, Mr. Roger G,
Thanks for having
our resident ogre. How's the
me.
swamp going?
Yeah, not too shabby getting there.
Started off with something, just giving a little dig at ya.
You've already set the mood for
Set the mood for the rest of it.
the
Well, I've
podcast,
already had a
so-
few beers, so
Yeah.
I'm already well on the way to.
Fair, I've definitely got to play catch up then.
Yep. So expect a few little digs here and there from us.
Oh, look, it's nothing I'm not used to before.
Yeah,
so-
yeah. It's pretty on brand, actually.
Exactly. It's part of the brand. Part of the name is that I must get butchered.
That's it, mate.
It's the joys.
And you just picked up the whip. Showed us the new whip outside.
Yeah.
The new Polo.
Yeah, 2016 Polo GTI. So I've been waiting
Yeah.
3 weeks for it since I put the deposit down. So it took them absolutely ages to get the finance done, but we got there in the end. And as a thank you for being for obviously waiting, they chucked in an extra 6 months rego. So I was like,
Oh, sick.
That's not bad.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, so no, they're really friendly, and it was just weird. As I said, look, people got sick, and then I think I just got pushed to the bottom of the pile.
Yeah.
So it kind of ended up taking a little bit longer. But hey, I got 6 months extra rego, so I don't. Yeah, it doesn't
That's
really make a
pretty
difference to me. So
That's
yeah,
it.
so fucking now I got a $26,000 loan to pay off.
Fun. Debt.
Fine.
Debt.
First big loan that I've got to pay off, so I'm looking forward to it.
But you got a new job in that, I see.
Yeah,
working with the badge now,
the
and
one
my
and
cousin
only.
Chelsea as well.
Yeah. So no, it's been a lot of change going on in the last sort of couple of weeks in my life, which has been exciting. Mostly, well, no, all positive changes, which is good. And it's sort of just another step of me becoming an adult, which is becoming more and more scary.
Fuck, that's funny. You becoming an adult.
Yeah,
I
I
can't
know.
imagine that great.
Yeah, I can't imagine it either. But here I am with
Yeah.
a full-time job, a car repayment, a house. I'm just like, Christ, I'm getting old.
Yeah. No.
So
You got plenty to go, man. You got
I've
plenty to
got a little bit. So I'm only 22, so I've got 23 in December. So still fairly young.
Yeah. So what's been going on over COVID? I mean, look, to be honest, I know exactly what's been going on with you over COVID because, you're a frequent participant
Yes.
of the Friday knockoffs and that.
I am,
You've come and played an event and stuff.
I
So,
have.
but for everyone out there, what have you been up to? Has COVID been weird for you or not?
COVID actually hasn't really been too weird. Obviously, apart from all the clubs closing, not being able to go to the Met every Friday, Saturday night, that was obviously the biggest sort of thing. But
Yeah.
in terms of work, I've kept working. I kept my retail job at a factory second store throughout the whole of COVID. So that sort of kept me going, kept the bills paid, kept the rent going, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that was kind of good. And then as you said, am I 3 weeks in now? So so about 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago, I got a job at National Storage. In the contact center, so doing inquiries, assisting where I can. So really loving it. Compared to I was sitting as I said, the factory second job, I was sitting by myself for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. The only one working in the shop. So it got a little bit lonely, and I was spending all day on the computer. And out of the 8 hour shift, I'd probably maybe work for like 2.5 hours other time,
Because if people aren't coming in.
Look, if people aren't coming into the shop, like there's not much to do. So pretty much just me sitting on SoundCloud, YouTube. So which was good because it meant I kept on top of music and everything like that, and I was constantly downloading tunes.
Should just made mad TikToks, bro. TikToks in the fucking with all the TVs and shit. I'm sure you could have come up with something really good.
Oh, look, I'm sure I could have, but yeah. So no, so that was good. At least I was staying on top of music, as I said, constantly downloading music and whatnot. But I'm glad to be where I am now. It's a step up. It's a more sort of mature kind of role. It's working with a lot of like-minded people. And sort of getting me in the door in the corporate world, you could say. So a little bit of a pay rise as well, which is good, and obviously that sort of helped swing the decision of the car. Well, I was always thinking about getting a new car, and then I got off the new job, which was going to be more pay, and I was like, look, this is something I think I can afford. Did the math and everything, so everything worked out well. So looking forward to what the future holds there. As I said, working with it was Cameron that actually got me the job, so getting to see him 3 days a week is pretty good. Getting to see my best mate 3 days a week, which is good and exciting. And then and as I said, the other guys in the office are fantastic as well. They've made me really welcome and made this whole sort of experience over the last couple of weeks like really Really good. So it's just a little bit of a shame. It keeps me so busy that I'm starting to slip on music a little bit. Like
Yeah.
obviously not sitting on SoundCloud all day,
Yeah.
kind of downloading music. So it's slowly starting to get away. But I try and play catch up. I've got my weekends back, which is good.
Yeah.
I did 8 months of working every Sunday,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So now I've got full 2-day weekends, which I'm really enjoying. So get to spend time with my dad and my mates and whatnot,
Yeah.
and go out, get pissed and not go to work hungover the next
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
So
That's right. Yeah.
so yeah, no, but it's good, and as I said, it's really exciting times, and it's as I said, there's been a lot of positives in my life, which is good, and I'm really fortunate and really thankful for, and it's really helped me and really motivating, to see when these things sort of line up and come into place. It's really motivating, and I want to keep doing more. So now I've set myself, and now as I said, I've got the job, I've got the car, that's all sorted now. So the next thing I want to do is really get a grip on my own music production,
Yeah.
really get a grip on that, and also get into gym as well, getting into a bit of better shape still.
Yep.
Still trying to get there. So I've come a bit of a wave. If you met me at the beginning of last year, you would have seen this like massive round ball that probably would have sat here like that.
Yeah.
But I between jobs and stuff like that,
Tightening it up a bit.
yeah. So and started going to the gym, so a bit of cleaner eating and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So slowly sort of getting down. And this year I kind of got into bit of a routine with the gym. So long way to go, but I've also come a long way, which is got to recognize as well. It's always good to look back at where you've come from.
That's it.
That's what I've noticed as well. Whenever you're achieving striving for goals, it's always good to actually sort of sit back and be like, wait, how far have I actually come?
Yeah. And you don't realize how far you've come until you look.
Exactly.
You take that moment to look back.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're just in the thick of it otherwise. And
yeah,
like I'm totally like that. It's like I'm always like, what's next? What's the next thing I can do? Like, how can I do better? What can I do? And so I'm always sort of thinking about that.
It's always it's really easy to get caught up in always striving for more. Where sometimes you actually need to have a sit and be like, okay, I've actually where have I actually come from?
Yeah.
And with that as well is with life as well, it's a wave. You're gonna have your ups and downs. Sometimes you're gonna have setbacks.
Yeah.
But you've also got to recognize that those setbacks aren't there forever. If you sit there and think this is going to set me back forever, then of course it is. You're going to get stuck in that mud. So you've got to realize, when you do have, you have your shit days and stuff goes wrong. You've obviously got to realize it, and recognize it. But then also, how are you going to get past it? Because I can tell you what, if you don't sit there and go, how that this is going to get better, it's certainly not. So I've had a really sort of big mind shift in the last couple of months, in terms of thinking, and the ways I react to certain situations now, and the way I sort of handle myself. I've really sort of tried to become a little bit more open minded. Sort of understand where other people are coming from in certain situations, that you're not always going to agree with them 100%. And sometimes you gotta say, look, what see things from their point of view as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big thing that a lot of people need to recognize, and because it's really hard, seeing a lot of people my age down in the dumps, and saying how depressed they are and everything like that, and if you sit there and say to yourself that this isn't going to get better, then of course it's not.
Yeah.
So I've really sort of recognized and be like, look, you've unfortunately, like, sometimes it might be hard to see, but you got to force yourself to think positively, and it's not always easy, and also a big thing is also asking for help. That
Not enough people do that.
yeah, no, yeah. So look, we're all on this journey together, on this world together. So we're not expected to be able to handle every single situation by ourselves. We're not robots designed, programmed to be able to cope with every single situation.
Yeah.
So you can't be afraid, whether it's ask for professional help from a psychologist or something like that, or asking your mates and stuff like that. I think asking your mates for help is very underrated at the moment. Because
Can be tough too, though, because it's people you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They know you. People feel, a lot of people would feel, like embarrassed or ashamed of whatever it is, and they don't want their friends to know. Whereas when when it's a therapist or someone, it's like an outside person who's like, they're not part of my life normally. I don't have to see them.
Exactly.
All the
And
time,
that's the thing as well. With every person is going to have something, they're going to feel differently about the situation, and they're going to turn to, certain people. Some people might turn to their best friends for help. Some people might turn to their parents. Some people might turn to their siblings. Some people might go to professional help. So it's not about who you go to. It's the fact that that you do go somewhere. And as I said, whether it doesn't matter who that is, but so yeah, I've been trying to sort of and COVID's been really tough on a lot of people, obviously with losing a lot of jobs, especially in the music scene with all the clubs. So they're closing back down. I've really sort of seen how much that's taken a toll on people. And just sort of trying to be there. As I said, we're on the same situation together. So there's no point in trying to push people away, trying to strive above other people, because at the end of the day, we're all just trying to survive. So we're all just trying to enjoy ourselves and get by. So there's no point on trying to force people to struggle.
So what caused this change in perspective? Was there something you can put it down to? Was it just the big change of COVID and everything happening in the world that made you think about these things, or was it
I think
something else that happened, or you just getting old?
Probably the first thing was getting old, and I was also getting really tired of.
22 is not old, by the way.
Oh, yeah,
but yes,
getting older.
Going older.
I look back. I think back. I was like, Christ. I was 17, 18. It feels like what was yesterday. I don't know. Sitting here, being 23 in December.
Same. It feels like it was yesterday for me too.
Yeah. So no, but obviously getting older, and you kind of realize that what's the point in getting caught up in drama? What's the point in getting miserable about things you have absolutely no control over? That was a big thing for me. I was always getting
Chris, are you listening?
and as jokingly it is, but you put yourself, you get caught up in these situations that you have absolutely no control of. And you just spiral into this sort of hole, and then you get trapped there. So it's a lot of the time it's just thinking, what's the point? What's the point in getting so...
You can't control it. Exactly. You can only control what you do and how you feel.
Exactly. The situation's going to happen whether you like it or not. It's
how you react to it.
Exactly. So, as I said, just being so tired of getting, this person did this, this is... And I was just like, why am I so... literally. I was like, why am I so miserable all the time? It's because I'm getting caught up in this. And another big person that I'm lucky enough to turn to is my dad. He's been really supportive.
How's his accent? Has he got a thick Scottish accent?
He's got a better one than me, obviously. We've been here for 15 years, so I was 8 when we came over. So I'm knocking the table. But in saying that, we're from a place called Aberdeen, which is sort of northeast Scotland, which doesn't typically have the thickest of it. Like they've got their own accent, but it's not like a thick Glaswegian accent where you're like talking like this, and it's absolutely horrible to listen to. And it's a bit. I'm not a fan of the Glaswegian accent.
Does your accent come out more like if you get drunk or something like that? Like I know some people like it comes out more after they've been drinking.
When I first turned 18, I kind of forced it on because I thought I'll use some of the girls.
I'm different.
Like,
I like the accent.
I'll get a couple of beers in. What's going on? How are you this evening? Kind of like that. Get a bit of an accent going, and try and pick up. And then I realized
didn't work.
That's not working.
Didn't work for you.
So that's why I became a DJ.
And how's that working for you?
Look, so no, like my family doesn't have the thickest of accents, but you go over to obviously my grandparents and my auntie who's still over there, and they've obviously got quite sort of thick accents. But as I said, we've been here for 15 years. 15 years this month. And so as I said, I've got a bit of a mix of Scottish and Australian, and it's quite funny because I get asked if I'm American a lot, American or Canadian, because apparently the two the Scottish and Australian just come together, and everyone's like, "Are you American? Where's that voice from?" And it's like, no, it's I've just got an annoying voice.
I would never pick it as like. I would always pick it.
That's as I said.
If anything, you would maybe go like Irish, or even UK. Not UK really.
Most people, I do get Irish a fair bit. I don't get English, which is good, which I'm very thankful for.
It is a bit different too.
I get asked if I'm Canadian, American, Irish, and like, no, I'm just Greg.
I'm just Greg. I'm just Greg. I'm all Greg.
Yeah. So no, but yeah. So as I said, the accent wasn't really working, and so I kind of just gave that up.
So what is working then?
What is working with the
What's
ladies?
working? Give some tips to anyone out there who maybe needs some tips.
God, I've got.
He's like, I've got no tips. I've got no
my
tips.
track record. It's not exactly. It's not exactly great. But all I can tell
is Love Line with Roger G.
Look, I mean, see, that's the thing. I like to. A lot of people end up coming to me, and I don't know if they come to me or I go to them, and I end up giving them relationship advice. But I'm probably like one of the person in Brisbane with probably the least relationship experience.
Anyone who's out there who keeps asking Greg for relationship advice, stop it. Stop it right now.
Oh no, but I don't mind it, and
he probably gives good advice.
But I think it's good because I kind of use that mentality, as I said, when thinking about sort of situations when I do speak to people about their relationships and stuff. I sort of use those mentalities when giving advice and stuff, and I think it kind of gives a little bit of a refresher because I like to think I've come from a slightly sort of different place to everyone else. As I said, just purely because I don't have the experience doesn't mean I haven't witnessed good relationships. I've seen good relationships, I've seen bad relationships. I think I like to think I have a good idea, what makes a good relationship work, and I also realize what can make a bad relationship. So it's all about just sort of giving, as I said, giving that sort of support where you can, and a lot of the time just sort of giving people a different sort of perspective. And as well with advice that I've recently learned, which is that not when you're giving advice, some people don't want advice, some people just want support. And there's a big difference between the two. If you're giving giving someone advice, you're obviously thinking from your perspective what the right thing to do, and sometimes, as I said, people don't need another perspective because that's just going to make their situation a bit messier. Sometimes you actually just
confusing.
need to just to give them a little bit of support, just give them that little bit extra edge to be like, it's actually, it is okay, try this, that kind of thing. And yeah, so
what you're saying about how you've seen people, what's a good and bad relationship. That's what every single person says. They're like, and that's why I'm not in a relationship. So it's the same. I've so many people, it's hilarious. That's such a single thing to say. No, I know what a good and bad relationship looks like.
Oh yeah, look. Just actually, and saying that, I've realized how dumb that sounds. But I've realized, what some of the right things to do, not obviously what makes a good relationship, but what some of the right things to do are, and what are some of the things not to do, rather than obviously, so that's just that. So
I'll put you on the spot there with some Love Line tips.
So look, if anyone needs
love tips with Roger G.
That's it.
Even the name works with it.
I should start, maybe I should start my own podcast,
Doctor.
actually.
Roger G, the Love Doctor.
Maybe like a Thursday night or something, maybe 9 o'clock. Do a podcast, Love Line with Roger G. Just
Love Line with Roger G. You got to do that.
This we could be onto something here. I'm liking this. So
that's funny, man. So what? Let's talk about music.
Okay.
We've been talking about all this other stuff, serious stuff. Let's talk about the fun stuff. Music. Obviously, you're a big UK bass fan. That's your main bay.
So I'll at the moment I'm definitely sort of rocking the UK vibe, the bass line, the UK bass, the garage, the drum and bass. I saw what I saw because I was I started back in 2017. July 2017. I'll take you right back. So I was 19 years old.
That's only 3 years ago, bro. That's not right.
Okay.
Go on.
What was I? So just turned 19, and someone showed me virtual DJ on the computer and showed me looping, and he did a transition on that. And I just remember sitting there just going, "Holy shit! That is so cool."
Incredible.
Yeah, and I've always been into music. My family's very musical. My brother did a Bachelor of Popular Music at uni. He's also done piano grades, guitar grades. I did for those who haven't seen my Facebook, yes, I play the flute. I got up to grade 3 or 4 on the flute. But if you do stalk my Facebook, there is a video of me playing the flute to Mask Off by Future. I probably shouldn't plug this on here, but if you're bored and you listen to this, go onto my Facebook.
Go check it out for sure.
Go onto my videos. Hilarious. I think it's about must be about 5 years old now.
Yeah.
But it's a video of me playing Mask Off on the flute. So yeah, music's been a big part of my life, sort of for the majority of it, and I've always, probably back in 2014, I was a big sort of big room fan, into spinning records, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Obviously
yeah.
into Martin Garrix, and a bunch of those guys. I can't even Quintino, I think his name is Quintino. A bunch of guys from,
Yeah.
as I said, spinning records. I love that label. And then I sort of went into a bit of a rap phase through 2015, 2016. And then, as I said, at the beginning of 2017, shown how to use virtual DJ, and then I sort of got back into EDM. And then April 2017, I got my first like little controller. I got a little package from Store DJ. It was Christ, what was it? It was one of the little Pioneer controllers. I think it was like $250 or something, and
One
it
of
came
the
with
real, cheap early day
yeah,
ones,
like one of the basic models, and then it came with a set of speakers as well. So I loved the shit out of that. So yeah, that got me really going, and I remember just sitting at my desk, like, every afternoon, just sitting there going, I was absolutely trash, but I was just sitting there every afternoon playing
with it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So then
And what did you use software wise? Was it all working through Pioneer, like Record Box?
Yeah, so at first, when I got the controller, I kept using, so I used Virtual DJ on the computer, then got the controller, which came with Record Box. Then I kept using Virtual DJ because I was like, oh, it's so much simpler, because the waveforms were overlapped, and I thought it was like, oh, this is so much easier to see.
Because I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They literally overlapped, and then I realized, like, nah, you're
you're
fucking
cheating.
idiot. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, and then I started using Record Box, and I was like, now we're playing with the big boys.
Yeah. That's it.
So then, yeah, and then first week of July 2017 was my first DJ gig.
Yeah.
And it was a DJ comp down on the Gold Coast, and I was the first act on, and this is when my DJ, I was real creative. My DJ name was DJ Greg's.
DJ Greg's.
DJ Greg's, the OG. That was my first gig. So yeah, and so I went from a little $250 controller to CDJ 2000s, just not Nexuses, just 2000s.
Yeah.
So you can imagine how that went.
Yeah.
So I'm going, a guy that's gone from this little
interesting.
shitty controller on his computer with sync. At that time, I was using sync because I thought, oh, look at this button, it links everything.
Magic.
Yeah. Oh my god, this is so cool. And then so then I went to I did this gig, and as I said, it was on 2000s. It was a shit show.
Yeah,
it was.
Everyone's got that story of a shit gig. Like
Yeah,
their first gig,
and I'm
new
glad.
gear, not that you don't know.
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough that my first gig, it was absolutely shit. It was so bad because I'd been so used to pressing sync. All my tunes loaded went to was locked into a BPM, so I was never having to use the slide, like using the
faders,
yeah. And so I remember just getting up there and trying to do, obviously it was a pre-planned mix, and I was trying to do it, and it was just messy, and everything was slipping and this that, and I was like, and then I just realized, I was like, oh shit, I'm not even changing the tempos, like they're all completely out of whack. And then I realized I didn't even know what the cue button on the mixers did. I didn't realize that was for the headphones. So I'm sitting there with my headphones plugged in, with them on, but there's nothing coming through. Like I thought, because the speakers were so loud, I was like, oh yeah, it's just a bit quiet. And I'm sitting with headphones on, and there's nothing coming through them.
Yeah.
And as I said, it was an absolute disaster. Like I fucking easily came last. And I remember afterwards, because we got a drinks card. No, this was a good thing about it was. And the drinks card we got was for 10 drinks for this DJ comp.
10 drinks.
10 drinks.
Shit.
Yeah. 10 drinks, and it included vodka Red Bulls. And so I think I used all 10.
You should not drink 10 vodka Red Bulls in one night.
And trust me, now I know that. At the time, I wish I knew that. So I had about 10 vodka Red Bulls, and I remember because there was like a shuttle bus into Surfers, and I just remember being on the bus. I don't remember a thing. I remember being on the bus, but like that's about it. And then I just remember getting off the bus, and I went to was it Chevron Renaissance, that little like cluster of shops and restaurants. I remember getting out of the bus there and just heading straight to the toilet and just absolutely just puking my guts out. Everything's spinning. I'm sitting there trying to like breathe with my mouth open. I'm sweating. I'm pale. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? And then I think I was in there for about 2 hours. Some cleaner dude bangs on the door. You gotta get the fuck out. I'm like, he's like, get the fuck out. And then I was like, okay, got out, kept the head down, just got out, called an Uber. I think, and I was really fortunate that this dude that picked me up in the Uber was like, he was like mid-20s or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was just me. It was about a 25-minute drive home from Surfers, and I just remember about 3 times asking, "Mate, can you please pull over? I'm gonna puke."
It's like, yep,
Yeah. So, and then I just remember feeling absolutely shite the next morning. I think that would probably be the worst hangover I've ever had.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad was away in the UK, and I just remember just being in this house. I think I was with my brother at the time, and I just absolutely hated it. I was like, why? I remember sitting to myself, I'm like, nah, that was terrible. That was so embarrassing. I don't know why I ever started DJing. I wasted so much money on these decks, on this shit. Like, what the fuck? Why did I do this? Why did I think this was okay?
Yeah.
And then the hangover kind of left, and I calmed back down a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I started just having a little bit of a play on the decks again, getting back into it. And then I realized, like, so I turned sync off, and I realized, you spin the jog wheel, it speeds the track up, and you get them in time. And I was like, mind blown. So I was like, oh. So then that, and then as I said, I started to learn a couple more things, some of the effects and stuff. And then that really sort of got the ball rolling. And then at the beginning of 2018, during that phase, I was still living on the Gold Coast. And then at the beginning of 2018, after I just started promoting at the Met, I moved up to Brisbane. Got the opportunity to there, and I moved in with one of my mates who was sort of head promoter at the Met at the time. Well, he still is, I guess. And so he moved in with me, and he had RX1s. And obviously we had them in the lounge, and sort of getting that sort of got me into, oh, okay, cool, using more advanced gear. The loops got better effects and all that kind of stuff. So it slowly got a bit of a grip. And then we upgraded to the RX2s, and it just got into this point where I was just like, I just loved mixing. I was just started mixing like every afternoon. It wasn't like a thing like, oh, I have to start mixing, I have to start practicing. It just became fun, and I loved it. And just from doing that, I just got my skills up, got my techniques up, realized doing this works. And then it's kind of just grown to the point where I can comfortably say that I've got a skill that I'm proud of, and I'm not jerking myself off and trying to blow my ego or anything like that, but I've worked hard to be where I am, and I'm obviously going to recognize that, because what's the point in working towards something, getting a skill, if you're not going to sit there and go, okay, I've worked hard for this, I've got a skill, because there's no point in just sitting there going, oh, I'm shit, because who's going to book someone that calls himself shit, Greg, come play for us. Oh, I don't know, bro, I'm a bit shit, like they're obviously not going to fucking book you. So it's all about it's about balance, being like, okay, I've realized I've worked for something, I've got a skill, but then I'm also not going to go out and say I'm better than this person, I'm better than that person, because that's when you're going to get into trouble. And unfortunately during 2018, when I was still relatively new to the scene, unfortunately I did have that mentality, that I did sort of go, oh, why is this person getting booked, why am I not getting booked, and it made me angry and made me frustrated. But I think I kind of used that anger and frustration to get better, and I said things online and to people in person, which I look back and gone, why the fuck did I say that? Because because I don't think people realize when you start talking about other even, and not even just start, well, obviously putting down, but even when you start talking about other DJs, I think a lot of people sort of be like, oh, careful what you say. And so at the time I was like, oh, why are they getting gigged? Why are they getting booked? I should be getting booked. I'm so much better. And unfortunately, it probably did my brand some bad. Like, it probably sort of put me down a couple of levels compared to everyone else. And then sort of 2018 sort of came along and went by, and I fortunate enough, September 2018 was my sort of first actual booking, and it was for Talina and friends at the Met.
Nice.
So I'd sort of known. So me and Talina actually, she was in my brother's grade at school. So when she got her residency at the Met, I was like, oh, that name looks familiar, and so she just started, and I sort of reached out to her. I was like, oh, I think you went to school with my brother, kind of thing. So that sort of started a really nice sort of relationship there, and then that I ended up doing another DJ comp in 2018, sort of sorry, just before, so it was probably about June, July 2018. It was the same DJ comp as the year before, actually. That's what it was, for the Griffith Uni down in the Gold Coast. So
Okay, yeah,
so it was for a year later from my first DJ set. I redid the same DJ comp.
yeah. How'd you
And
go then?
oh fucking, I smashed it. So well, I didn't win, but I was so much better than the year
Yeah.
before. And I went into the
You
comp.
felt good after
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah, and I went into the comp thinking, oh, it'll be on 2000s. You know, I won't have live waveforms or anything. So I remember practicing at home. And I recommend for anyone that has like RX2s or RX1s or XZs, if you've got one of the just with the one screen, what I recommend doing is when you're practicing mixing, when you've loaded the two songs in, press browse on the screen to go back into the menu and practice mixing by ear, because
Yeah.
that
Without
is
looking
that
at
is
the
a skill
waveform.
that like yeah, that really is it's hard to come by. And it makes you stand out so much more above the rest of the crowd, being able to sorry, the rest of the people in the scene, to be able to beat match by ear, because as I said, seems like every fucking man and his dog owns an RX2 these days.
Yeah.
So everyone's practicing with the one screen with the waveforms on top of each other. So yeah, I remember doing that, being like thinking I was okay. I'll be playing on 2000s again. I won't have live waveforms, so I practiced mixing with with the screen on, with the menu up, so I couldn't see the live waveforms and everything. Got up to the comp, and turns out they had Nexus 2s, so I was like,
Yeah.
okay, but which was actually a relief.
Yeah.
But you would rather over prepare than under prepare.
Yeah.
So yeah, did a lot better that year. I think it was like 7 people. I came third.
Yeah.
So I got myself, it was like $250. But Talina was one of the judges, so she saw me play, and then and so hence why she booked me for
She was
Talina.
like, oh, well, he can obviously play.
Yeah, exactly. So she put me on with Jay Humphreys, and so yeah, that was my first ever booking. Was at the Met down in Coco. It was at 4:30 in the morning on a Saturday night, 4:30 till close.
Yeah.
And I think the best part about it, I remember my dad rocked up at 4 a.m. to come watch me play.
That's
Yeah,
sick.
came down to the Met at 4 in the morning, in a little shirt, jeans, shoes, and came
Yeah.
down, and yeah, that
Cute.
was
super cute.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty special, and
Yeah.
and I think that was at that time he was there. He was came down to Coco for about 5 minutes,
Yeah.
and obviously he was must have been about 50. He was maybe 50, 51 at the time. Yeah, he was. He's in his 50s, and
Yeah.
we were down there for about 5 minutes, and a fucking fight breaks out right in the middle of Coco. Just started pushing, and then like just comes closer to closer. But luckily, the security came. I was like, okay, I swear it's not like this every
It's
time.
never like that.
Yeah, that's actually I'd been going for this Met for about a year at that point. I was like, Dad, that's
I've
like
never seen that.
like that's the
before in a
first
year.
fight I've ever seen. He's like, no, that's all right. It was kind of entertaining.
Yeah.
So no, but that was really special. As I said, I don't know how many parents would come to a club at 4 in the morning to watch their
That's
kid
pretty.
play.
Yeah, that's
And
pretty
it's not
extreme.
even the fact that it's different. If going to like a concert, if you're watching your kids playing piano, but this is me playing like bass house, like
Yeah,
shit,
and 4 in
like,
the morning.
yeah, exactly. Not
different too, yeah.
exactly easy listening for a 50-year-old,
Yeah.
but so no, that was really nice. And so then yeah, that was sort of my first proper booking, and yeah, it went really well. As I said, it was B2B with Jay, but he was really nice, because he like, instead of like doing like 2 and 2 or 1 and 1, he let me do like 2 or 3, and he'd do 1, because he obviously realized it was my first sort of booking. So that was really nice of him to let me do that, and it was a really good experience as well. I always recommend, if you haven't before, like do either, if it's a live stream or if you can get an opportunity to do it back to back, because it will make you so much better as a DJ.
You learn things because
Exactly.
everyone does things different.
Exactly. You
How
see,
they mix and
how they mix and everything like that. And what it's also really easy to do as well with when you realize, when you practice. So, well, when I was practicing so much, all of my sets were like becoming planned, but without me realizing it. And so when I did the back to back, obviously I didn't know what Jay was going to play.
Yeah.
And so
So you
that
can't plan
really,
it.
that really made me switched on. And as I said, made me learn how to actually mix on the spot, rather than having a pre-planned set.
Yeah.
So that was another big sort of milestone in sort of my music and becoming a little bit better. So that was that, and then sort of led into 2019. And then it was a bit of a quiet year. I did a couple of comps, didn't really get too far, couple of gigs. In saying that, actually, I say that at the beginning of 2019, sorry, I was booked for down in Coco again for Denna Amy. That was a really big one for Mason. Sorry, with Mason Maffick, we went back to back, and it was it was an interesting one because I got a call less than 24 hours before. It was a Thursday afternoon, and I got a call saying, we're going Coco only tomorrow night. You're opening with Mason, and I just remember being like over the moon, just being like, holy, like I've actually like it wasn't an friends night, it was an actual syndrome booking, and I was like, this is it, this is the shit, and it was a tough one because, as I said, I only got told less than 24 hours before, and it was for Syndrome for Denna Amy, so it was very sort of light, well, not light tech house, but it was majority tech house for the whole night, and that wasn't at that time. I was very heavy bass house, electro, even dub, like that. So that was really I was kind of doing it for the opportunity, and unfortunately, it was a little bit messy, and that was just purely from me being underprepared, and it was also me playing out of my comfort zone, and it just also I just wasn't sort of ready kind of at that stage yet. I hadn't sort of learned what I sort of currently know now. So that kind of sort of, as I said, it was a little bit messy. It was a 9 to 11, and but and again, things are messy, but shit happens. And if you're gonna sit there and go, oh, that was the worst gig ever, I'm gonna, that's it, I'm giving up, then obviously, that's when the time is to give up. But as I said, I sort of took that. I was like, all right, obviously I got a bit to learn. And so took a bit of experience from that, and then a couple of weeks later I was booked for Presto and Friends. So Anthony Preston, so he booked me and bassist Jack Conley, so we were on the on another back-to-back, again 4:30 till close, but that was unbelievable. Like probably like it was packed because we had it was a stacked line. I'm trying to think who was on it. Rook was on it. She played with Ben. I can't remember Ben's DJ name though.
Ben who?
But is it Perisic? I can't remember his DJ. Anyway, so those guys they played really heavy bass line before us, and they did quite well in your shot. So they had a massive crowd in it from 3:30 till 4:30, and then me and Jack came on, and the crowd really hung around, and that was so fun. As I said, it was just packed that crowd. Just got to play as heavy as we wanted. Just played like really heavy bass house, and it was phenomenal. So that was definitely one for the books as well. And then as I said, after that it was a bit of a quiet year. As I said, a couple of comps which I didn't do great in.
Were you in the? Did you enter into the Our House one? Did you say that?
Yes, I did.
One of the years.
Yeah, so that was last year. So I did that at Pro E. So
that's the one last year that's just gone.
Sorry, I realized how long I've been talking. I was like, ouch, been sitting holding this beer. So get the wet the palate a little bit. So I did the Our House competition at Pro E last year. So I did the first set on the first round. I was the first set, and I remember
like you opened the whole comp.
Yeah. So and I remember thinking, look, Pro E predominantly house, tech house, that kind of sound. So I did sort of tailor that set to that kind of crowd. Smashed it. Was really fun, and then they're like, yeah, cool, you're through to the semi-finals. And then I kind of was a little bit dumb and was like, oh, well, I've obviously done so well. Now I'll play a little bit heavier, and sort of went a bit more bass housey rather than sort of the sort of tech house that I played before. And I think that kind of cost me a little bit. It wasn't really the sound that Pro E was. I played well, and the crowd enjoyed it, but I don't think it was the sound that Pro E really wanted. As I said, it was that sort of little bit heavier bass house, which I don't think they were super duper keen on. So that's where
they only really dabble in bass house late at night. And there'll be a little bit here and there. It's not really like their main staple or anything.
So so I didn't get through there, and then so that was about that for 2019, and then we sort of came along into this year, and I sort of I don't know really.
Starting to get a bit of traction in the start of the year.
I don't really know what the big shift was, but it was as I said, just the end. Something kind of changed at the end of last year. I sort of got a bit grew in confidence, and as I said, throughout that whole time, even though I wasn't getting much gigs in 2019, I was still practicing every day. and I met a lot of incredible people on the way as well, and that's when I sort of became friends with Badger from going to your shot. I never actually got into. I never did your shot, but
Yeah,
I went.
I was gonna ask you that actually. Well,
Yeah,
I was thinking earlier, like before you got here, and I was like, did Greg do but your shot, or I wasn't sure,
yeah.
but yeah,
So I actually applied for it in 2018 and did the interview, but I
not
didn't
good
get in.
enough, couldn't
Yeah,
get in.
yeah. Apparently not. So no, I didn't get in, and yeah, I went to the event because most of my mates were playing in the 2018 one, and yeah, it just that when that sort of came by, I just realized, and I'm probably, I don't know. Hopefully, this doesn't get me into too much trouble. But
Tell us what you really think,
oh look,
Greg. Tell us what you really think.
yeah, look, I'm not a huge lover of your shot.
Yeah,
I understand there's a place for it,
yeah,
and obviously I'm not gonna judge people that do it. I'm not gonna hate it and say it doesn't need to, it shouldn't exist, that kind of thing. I think it's great that it gives people an opportunity and gets
yeah,
them really into the scene. But in saying that, it does it floods the market a little bit, and with it as well, I just think it's a little bit too rushed. They try and from what I've heard, as I said, I never did the training, so I can't speak firsthand. But from what I've heard, and obviously what I've seen from people that have come out from it, it sort of it seems a little bit too compact and a little bit too short. And what it actually teaches people to do, it doesn't actually teach people to become DJs. It teaches them to become mixers, and
yeah,
it teaches them how to mix songs, because I think there's a big difference between the two. So as I said, you can be someone who mixes songs together where, as I said, you just play your favorite songs and you just go in and
yeah,
out,
yeah.
in and out, and you just do your own thing. And then there's people that can actually, read the crowd, read the
Yeah.
vibes, read the time,
Figure it
and
out.
actually, and as I said,
Yeah.
that's a whole component in itself.
It's a psychological aspect of it too,
Exactly,
being able
yeah,
to like see like you play a song and be able to recognize that people are enjoying it, even if they're
mm,
not dancing.
exactly.
Like you see them, and it's like you look for a little foot tap or a head
Yeah,
nod or
you
a
just any
little
sort of movement, and you're
yeah,
just
yeah
like you just
to the
lock
beat.
into it, and you're like, right, that's
Right, they
getting them
don't
going.
mind that. I'll play something similar and
Yeah,
see how that
exactly.
goes. Yeah,
So yeah, and so as I said, with it's as I said, it just kind of puts out from this is, and as I said, this is just my opinion, and as I said, I'm not belittling anyone that does it, but I from what I've observed, it just is a little bit too compact, and it just doesn't. There's so much to learn and there's so much to do, and unfortunately, just the best way I learned was literally just by practicing, just by doing it, just by getting out there, because as I said, when you try and sort of teach people in a sort of set plan, you kind of end up missing things. Whereas like when you kind of do things yourself, you discover things that you
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
know what were going to happen. And as I said, in saying that, it is good to have someone that can sit down and teach you, this is how you do this is how
Yeah.
you do that, because you
At
can
least
pick
for
up
the basics.
exactly, and they
Yeah.
can pick up from mistakes and stuff like that. But I just think personally it was the best thing was just sort of getting out there and doing it, realize what worked, what effects kind of did what, and as I said, so yeah, so never been a huge lover, as I said, after that, for your shot. But as I said, look, it's obviously going to continue. There's so much. It seems like there's so much money in it. That it's always going to go ahead. So I mean, I could sit here and go, oh, great, your shot's on again this year. But as I said, what's that going to do? It's going to happen
Yeah.
anyway. I might as well just embrace it. Meet some new people. As I said, I've met some great people from that have come out of your shot, and Cameron being one of them. I can sit here and say he's one of my best mates, and I first met him at your shot,
Yeah.
but then after that was at an event, and sort of just got the ball rolling, and we just clicked. So yeah, I think it does have its place, but as I said, personally, just not a huge lover. But so but yeah, and so towards the end of last year, what sort of happened? I ended up I made have you've met Royce?
Royce who?
Royce, fuck, what's his last name? I think it's
Feel like I've met a
Cartledge.
Royce.
He's come. He was here for a beer with
Which one? The one that
yeah,
you
that
guys
mean
played?
yeah,
Yeah, I
with Ali. He
probably
was
met
taking the
him.
photos with the big camera. He
Yeah,
does,
yeah,
and
okay, yeah, yeah.
so yeah, so he's fucking amazing. He's got a stupidly good camera, and he's
Yeah,
really talented. He's been shooting Havocs and stuff like that. So
yeah,
he's been in the Brisbane scene for I think a couple of years now, and yeah, I met him through my roommates at the time, and yeah, sort of he's just absolutely phenomenal with the camera. So I hit him up and I was like, hey bro, I'm thinking I think I had a new mix coming out or something, and I just wanted some press shots.
Yeah.
And so I was like, hey bro, like, you know, do you mind if we just like go out, take some pics? And he's like, yeah, like fuck off. He was like really keen, and it was really good for him because it was a learning experience from him, because he mostly did I don't know, action shots, but like they did events.
At venues.
Yeah, did gigs, as I said, did havocs and whatnot. So it was a bit of a learning experience for him.
Press shots.
Exactly. Like, so we really both got something out. Like, it was my first time getting press shots, so I was like, I like, dude, like, look at me. I'm not exactly an overly photo confident person.
Wait, and this is the one thing that I struggle with, like in press shots. It's like, what do you do with your hands?
Yeah,
you just put them down. Like,
yeah, I think I ended up going. The one that I really liked was, I think I went for, it was like chest up, hands at the back, and then the sort of neck up.
So you went no hands.
Yeah,
I went no hands.
Yeah, I went sort of smart behind the backs, kind of like neck up a little bit. So I think that was my sort of favorite press shot that I got out of there.
It's easier for girls because they can do like stuff with their hands and it looks cool.
Yeah,
and they can be like touching their hair or something, or like, you know,
and like I didn't have a great sense of fashion either, and like I was living in polos at the time and stuff like that.
Living in polos,
pretty much living in polo buttons. And,
are you changing up the polo vibe now? Is that what's going on?
I'm
still very polo centric.
Oh, look, I'm very.
Your car's even called. You even got a polo car.
I've even got a polo car, but yeah. But I've
It's just like you want us to make fun of you for it.
Look, I certainly don't fucking help myself, do I? I definitely put myself in these situations. But no. So now I'm sort of a bit more into jumpers because with it being a bit chill, and this is it's a bit of a passion of mine. Like, some people collect shoes, and like some people love buying like t-shirts. I love buying jumpers. I love like sweatshirt jumpers.
I thought you were gonna say polos.
And during summer I love buying polos. During winter I love jumpers. So
I love that one polo. I think it's a polo that you've got, and it actually says polo on it.
Yeah. So
that's just like the ultimate photo of you. You need to
Yeah.
take a press shot of you wearing that shirt
I
on the
am.
hood of your new car. Like, like it's the polo.
Literally. So no,
Polo.
I think that
the
was,
triple polo. Triple P.
Is it Ralph or Tommy?
I don't know.
It's one of those. Anyways,
Yeah.
but my dad actually got it for me in Europe, so
Yeah.
I love the shit out of that shirt.
Yeah.
So doesn't get worn too much because it's kind of got a little bit faded in the wash and shit. But
This might be the first time people are seeing you not in a polo.
exactly,
For some people.
Yeah, for some people. So, but now my thing at the moment, I've been living in this jumper. Don't worry, I do.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
I've seen that jumper a lot lately.
yeah, and the people I feel bad at work because it's all right. Let me. I'm gonna go into detail because this is why I love this jumper.
All
Okay,
right, tell us
so
about
I
why
love
you
this
love it.
jumper because it's so versatile.
What's the feeling of it?
It's like
That's cool. That's interesting.
It's not a normal material.
Yeah.
But it's so I can put it with anything. I can wear it with shorts, pair of Vans. It's nice and casual.
Can you though? No, yeah. Can you though? Nah, just
I don't know about the issue. These keep rolling up. I just keep showing my legs. I don't like this. I'm a bit.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
Greg walked in and sat down there, and then looked because we've got the camera angle up here and saw it on the screen and went, "Oh, I wore the wrong shorts. my legs are so
I
white.
could see. I saw
My legs are so white."
I saw my legs on the camera on the I'm like,
And the lighting doesn't help either.
Yeah.
It makes it look
I'm
even
so
white.
pale, bro. Like, anyway, so no, yeah, so I can wear it with like shorts, pair of Vans. It's casual. I can wear it with fucking I wear it to work with business pants and boots.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like a smart casual.
Yeah.
And then I can wear it to the gym when it's fucking chilly. So it's just a really nice versatile jumper. So that's why I love it. But I do wash it pretty much every other day, so it's not super stinky. But I've noticed at work, I'm like, fuck, I've worn this like 4 out of 5 days.
Yeah.
To work.
Just tell everyone you've got 3 of them.
Yeah.
You're like, I've got
much.
3 of these jumpers, exact same.
Yeah.
I just wear them different days. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I like the orange.
Yeah,
sort of
Adidas.
Adidas.
Yeah, Adidas. Yeah.
Adidas, Adidas, however you say
yeah,
it. I don't know how you say it.
Yeah, well, I think
I probably got it wrong.
Being, I think it's a UK thing to call it Adidas. So.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So
I'm gonna start calling it Adidas.
Adidas, just like So compared
Take
to
that UK vibe.
Yeah, I'm trying to just that's my vibe. So, but no, so I was actually last weekend. I was out for Luke Gray, Luke Oz. It was his birthday last. Well, yeah, I think it was anyway. He had his birthday party, and I received. I was taking Funi in the car. He was coming up with me, so the two of us were talking in the car, and he said a really nice compliment that actually like actually made me really proud was that he said to me that when he thinks of like UK bass and bassline, like he thinks of me, and
Yeah.
like that's all I've been striving for like the last like
Yeah.
at least 6 months, because I, as I said, when I started, like I've always been very bass house, and I still am. I'm very bass house oriented, but within like the last sort of I would say probably since the end of last year,
Yeah.
I've been very like bassline UK bass, because like I kind of I saw, there's other guys that are in the scene, you know, that I get along with and everything, but I saw like a bit of a gap in the market, and I sort of thought, you know, there was an opportunity there for to really strive, because as I said, I was with bass house, there's fucking like 100 other bass house DJs in Brisbane and Gold
Yeah.
Coast, that kind of thing. Whereas, you know, specifically UK bass and bassline, there's that little bit of a gap. As I said, there's still like there's a couple of like Ambassador, like Cafe
Yeah.
Beats, Badger. He's a bit more of a tech, more of a UK bass, but
Yeah.
you know, he'll get up there as well. Who else, like Blake Warlock, and so those guys were all in like in a baseline group chat on Facebook, and talk about like tunes and shit. So, but I saw a gap in the Brisbane scene, and I sort of like, you know, there's an opening here, and I was going to take it, so I just hit the ground. I just got really invested in the genre.
And you like that music anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Like I see,
it's not like you just saw that
No,
gap
yeah, I
and
was
thought,
like,
I'm just going to do that now.
Yeah, no,
It's like,
exactly.
you know,
So, but well, I actually really enjoyed it. So UK bass was like my
otherwise I'd be a
first.
rhythm DJ.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah,
not
so,
anymore. There's
so
plenty of good rhythm DJs out
yeah.
there now.
Oh fuck, dude, I can't do fucking half the shit that those guys do. So nah,
Yeah.
there's some talented guys out there. But I first it was bass house, and then I went into UK bass, and then I think I did a comp at the end of last year. It was it was for Tuskies. And I was like, what the fuck am I going to play for? Because it was like Tusky Thursdays, you know, it's a bit of a commercial club, but then it was a DJ comp so it was like kind of torn. And I was like, you know what I'm going to play? I'll play like fucking, I'll play commercial remixes, baseline remixes of commercial tunes.
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of like the point that where I really hit the whole
coming
UK
out party.
Yeah.
And
I was like,
"This is what
holy
I'm
shit,
doing,"
this is fun. It's
my thing
energetic.
now that I love.
Yeah, exactly. So then that's when I sort of really got heavily invested into the sort of the screechy sort of bassline, the Skepsis, the Holy Goof, that kind of sound. Before it was kind of the more night bass, kind of boppier, punchier kind of stuff. And then, as I said, this year I really sort of took, because it's so high energy. It's so it just really gets the crowd going. And I've really noticed a correlation between, like, if you go to like rhythm events and like you talk to rhythm fans, they all love bassline too. And it must be just like I don't know if it's kind of like the screech and the energy and stuff like that, but yeah, they absolutely love it. So so then what did I have this year? We moved into 2020, and as I said, the ball really started rolling, and it was really exciting. And I got booked. What did I have? I had two gigs. I had two gigs in January. Oh, that's right. So yeah, I had one of my mates did an event at Sub Rosa for my mate Nathan, and Nathan Wooten, sorry. Did movement, and so that kind of was like the first one, and first one for the year. And yeah, it was like 8 o'clock or something. It was a private event, but there was a couple of people there, and my mate Callum, I can't remember people's last names. I'm still useless with Callum Page. Tall dude. I think he cut a lot of his hair, but so he was there with his camera, and I was like, oh, do you mind, like, you know, taking a couple clips for me and shit? So yeah, he got some some really nice clips of me playing, and then he put them together in a nice little like after video kind of thing for it. And yeah, I didn't realize at the time, but like shit like that makes such a big difference for your brand. And when people sort of see that, they're like, okay, this isn't just like a bedroom DJ. This is a dude that it's physical proof that you play gigs kind of thing. So yeah, that really helped. And then I got booked for Invade in February. So that was really fun. That was a good set again at Sub Rosa. I think that was in just trying to think. Yeah, that was January. I think that was the last week of January, and that was so much fun. And it was a really difficult set, because it was actually one of the first sets I was actually really nervous for, because it was mostly like dub, rhythm, drum and bass DJs, and I was playing 2 hours into the event. So there was 4 guys playing before me, like, so it was half an hour sets. 4 guys played before me. They all played like dub and rhythm, and then I was booked in 2 hours into this event. And I'm like, hey guys, I'm here to play some bass line.
Yeah.
And then I fucking rinsed it, and it just like, yeah, as I said, it was something. It was actually really good because it just broke it. It wasn't
different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was different, but it still had the energy, and yeah, the crowd loved it, and again, I got Royce to come along. I was like, dude, like, yeah, bring your camera, and,
Yeah.
like, get some pics for me again, and again, he got some fantastic pics, and yeah, I still use one of them for my profile picture, like me gun fingers like that. So I love that picture. But that was a really fun set, and as I said, it was I was really nervous because I was like, going from like 140 150 like dubbing rhythm down, bringing it back down to 130, you're slowing it down, but then I had to make sure I slowed the tempo down, but I kept the energy up. So yeah, really did, and that was really fun. Loved that set. So so that was really good, and then so kept going on. And then I got into the finals for the Tuskies DJ comp in February. Did that, didn't win. Sorry, did I get to the semifinals? Didn't get into the finals, but it was still fine. I still got to play my sound, so that was it's still a gig at the end of the day. And then so yeah, I kept sort of doing mixes, and I sort of started my now, so it's my selector series. And so it's just like, yeah, so I for the guys that like that sort of still relatively new to knowing me, so I did a thing back in 2018. So I started my own mix series called it was called the Blackout Mix. It was like the most basic as fuck name. It's just like what's a name I could make a mix series, because what it was as I said, back in 2018 I was mixing every day, and I was just like, how, I want to release mixes every week, but I realize like you can't do that, because you're just gonna you're gonna play behind the same shit. You're gonna be like sounding really repetitive. So I was like, how can I keep making mixes but still like, not overflood it? And I was like, cool, I'll fucking get guest mixes in. And so at first it started off with just like asking like a couple of mates. So the first one was Jay Humphreys, second one was High Teku, and then the third one was Storm. And that was really good. So, and then that just ball rolled, and I just kept plugging away at it. And then, as I said, that with knowing so many people at the Met, just got a bunch of the guys from the Met to hop on. So I did 28 episodes, and they're all an hour long. So yeah, so that was something I'm really proud of. That I literally like started a brand, pretty much.
And so why did you stop it?
Just honestly, I started working full time, and like, because what it was,
you don't even have to do the mixes though. Other people are doing.
So no, but that was the thing. So they were an hour long, but the first half an hour was always me. So the first I always did a half an hour at the start, and then it was a half an hour guest mix. So that was kind of my way of, I was still making mixes, but kind of leeching off other people. And I don't mean like leeching off, like obviously it was about their mixes as well.
It's exposure for both of you guys.
Exactly. So, they're, exactly.
People who already follow your mix series will then be introduced to the new artist who's playing if they don't know who they are. And then people who are fans of the artist who's submitting the guest mix will become your fans as well.
So yeah, it was really good. So yeah, I did. I pumped out pretty much every Friday. For I think I probably got to about 15 weeks straight. And then I started working full time, and then it sort of become a little bit more staggered
every now and again.
And then I sort of did my last one. Who was my last one with? I think it was JX Jackson. And it just got to the point where I was just like, cool, that's done. Like, as I said, 28 episodes, like that was a lot of guest mixes. It's not that I ran out of people, but I just kind of like, it kind of got stale.
Ran its course,
and I was like, cool, that's
and to be honest, there's so many like shows like like mix shows and that out there nowadays. It's like,
exactly.
I can't listen to all my friends and people's mix shows because there's so many,
Yeah,
and people send me mixes these days, and they're like, oh, it'd be awesome if you could like have a listen. I'm like, man, I don't have time to listen to mixes.
Yeah,
I like, if you send me a track you work on, I can give you 2-3 minutes to listen to a track.
Yeah,
I can't sit down and listen for an hour. I got too much to do.
Like a couple of years ago, I could have, when I was at uni, and I had a lot of time
back then,
but when you're working and shit, the only time I really have to listen to mixes is either when I'm driving or when I get home. Or and saying that, like I we got a speaker at work, so we pump some tunes. But
Cameron was saying about that. He was like, oh, he's like it's real good having you there, because he can be like fine to like listen to a good tune and go, wait, check this out, like wait, check this one out. This is dope. Like
So and so that's cool. So we get to play some tunes at the in the office, and once when I'm doing the late shift and most of the other guys leave, there's about 3 of us left, and we've got about 3 hours to pump out some work. That's when the drum and bass will come up. Not that I jump up, but we've got to get some serious work done. I'll put I've been listening to the shit out of Metric's new album, and it's just like kind of enough where it's not overkill, but it's enough to just keep you going and keep you going through the work. So
motivated.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I completely just forgot what we were talking about.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what we were talking about.
Yeah,
we'll just change the subject.
Yeah, I keep going down. Oh yeah, we were talking about mixes. That's right. So
mixes. And stuff,
we keep going through rabbit holes. So yeah, we're talking about mixes. So now I've kind of just got my one at the moment, which is Selector, which I'm trying to space out every sort of 3 months or so, get a bit of anticipation. But again, with these guys, it's just with that. Doing that little bit extra, because as everyone's got a fucking mix series nowadays, every man and his dog are doing mixes, so it's all about why should I listen to yours instead of someone else's. And what sort of I realized is doing a few extra steps really goes a long way when doing mixes, doing stuff like getting graphic designers to do artwork for it. I'm fortunate enough, I know Zoe Zadina, again, fucking amazing graphic designer. She does whenever I need a mix or a new logo or something like that, straight to her, just be just bounce her $20 kind of thing. So it's stuff like that, paying for really good artwork. And then what I've also been doing is Yanni Yanzo.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if you know this, but
video stuff.
Yeah, so she's I think she's like a professional voice actress. She does voiceovers and shit for companies, and so yeah, I hit her up and I was like,
she does a lot of YouTube stuff.
Yeah, she's got her own YouTube channel
stuff,
and shit.
Which is
So
pretty good,
she's really sort of into that kind of stuff. So I was listening to a couple of it was actually zero his mix. He did a 100% productions mix.
Yeah.
He's a big bassline dude, and in his mix it was just some chick's voice. It was this is Zero's 100% mix, all featuring 100%. I was like, fuck, when I realized, I was like, holy shit, what have I got Yanni to do? I put a bit of a British accent on and got her to censor. So yeah, I hit her up and yeah, she's fucking just sent me two little 10-second long clips of her saying it was so the first time I did it was for Selector 2, and it was just her just saying you're listening to Selector 2 by Roger G, and then I put it through Logic in the mix, put up compressor on it, what the fuck, I put a delay, a little bit of reverb as well, so it's got a bit of sort of white noise behind it as well, to sort of give it a bit bigger sound.
Sounds like it's in a room.
Yeah, exactly, and just so it sounds a little bit more intense. So I hit her up and then just shit like that. So I did it. I did again. So I've got number 3. I'll probably actually post it this afternoon. What's today? Is today the 18th?
I don't know. It's Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday's yeah, so I'll probably chuck that out.
It is the 18th.
Yeah, chuck that out stuff. So it'll be already out when this gets released. But so yeah, again, I just hit her up. I was like, same thing again, just say Selector 3. And again, so just shit like that makes such a big difference. It makes it sound so much more professional.
It just means you've gone to that little bit more effort.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of hey, I've gone to this kind of I've gone to this little bit of extra work. That's why you should listen.
Yeah.
And that's why, especially with the DJ scene in Brisbane, when it comes to your shot and everything like that, because there's so many people in the scene, you've got to have your thing that makes you stand out from everyone else.
Yeah.
And when it comes to getting booked and shit, it's why should you get booked over someone else?
Yeah.
That's what I always think. And a great example of this is Emily Rook. Her she's killing it with the fucking drum and bass scene at the moment. And she mixes bass line as well, so she's doing really well. She's grown so much over the last year. And she's fortunate enough to be a resident of Met and everything, and when you look at her thing, you see her on Facebook and shit. She's constantly posting memes, constantly shit talking. That's her thing. That's everyone knows her as the social media girl, and that's influenced her music scene and helped her grow. And because of that, being a bit of a shit poster online has attracted a crowd, so people always come and see her now whenever she plays. And that was kind of her thing. So my the thing I really focused on was getting my technical skill up, my technical skill and my song selection. Those are being getting tunes that fucking no one's ever heard before and shit like that. And being able to as I said, that's what I really focused on. And it wasn't like, oh, I want to be better than this person. Well, actually, no, I am going to say that because you got to push yourself.
You want to be the best.
Internally, you've got to tell
Everyone
yourself.
wants to be the best in the world.
Exactly. Like,
and if you don't, what are you doing with yourself?
Exactly. What's the point of doing it if you're not trying to be the best in the world?
Yeah.
So that's what I really strove for. And so, yeah, and that was kind of like my thing. So whenever I talk to people, that are sort of like, oh, why am I not getting big? Why am I not getting booked? Why am I not getting big? Gigs. It's you got to sit there and go, well, why should someone book you over someone else? Because there's a fucking 1,000 DJs in Brisbane, that can play fucking.
What are you doing? What's the reason? Yeah,
exactly.
What are you doing that would make you like? Because a lot of people are like, oh, nothing. Like, are you sending people mixtapes? Are you going out?
Yeah.
Have you got online mixes?
Yeah.
Have you got press shots? Are you working your socials? There's so much you can do. Like, and people, even with like socials, people are like, oh, I don't know, like. Someone's like hits me up to have a look at their socials, like, oh, I need a bit of a hand, and it's like, you didn't post for 2 months.
Yeah.
Like what? Like
I'm gonna say
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't post anything for 2 months, of course.
And look, I'm gonna say I'm not great with my social medias, but then I'm not sitting there going, why am I not? Because like it's just something that, I'm. And this is, I'll get a little bit sort of on the personal side here. So like, I've always been like my whole life, I've always been overweight, and that's kind of like it's kind of taken a bit of a toll on me. And I've always had the opportunity,
confidence kind of thing.
It's really fucking like it's really fucked my self-image, and it's not that I'm not a confident person. Like I'll go out and speak to anything, but like when it comes to actually looking at myself as a person, my self-image isn't great. And I obviously realize I need to that needs to change. I need to obviously learn to love myself. But it's the fact that it's not that I don't love myself. I just obviously realize like there's an issue here to my health, and I need to fix it. And I'm trying to do what I can to fix it, and every year I try something different. Unfortunately, I haven't found something that's worked, but I'm slowly getting there. I'm improving. So when it comes to that, so I've never really been a hugely photogenic person. Like I've never really gotten like, as I said, that's why getting press shots was such a big thing for me, because I've never really kind of done that thing. And so, yeah, I don't get many pictures. Like I haven't had a huge amount of gigs, so I haven't had a huge amount to post, but I'm not sitting going, oh, why am I not getting booked? Because as I said, the social media, the social kind of stuff, that's not really big. That's not important to me. Whereas to someone to Emily, her socials are very important to her Brisbane, to her DJ scene, because that's her thing. For like, as I said, don't really need to focus so much on my socials. Then probably the one that I focus most on is my SoundCloud, because obviously that's where people are going to hear my stuff. That's where I'm going to get recognized. So that's where I sort of put the most effort into my mixes, into my techniques, into my song selection, rather than focusing on my pictures. And I will get there. Hopefully as I get more gigs, I'll obviously going to get more opportunities to get more shots of me playing and shit like that. So,
but you know what? Like someone said this to me. They're like, I can't like. Specifically because it was COVID, they're like, I don't have shots of me out doing stuff. At events and gigs, and it's like, let people in on the other shit that you do. Like, it doesn't have to be all DJ related. It can be like your personal life, stuff like that. Like, shit like, I just got my new car. Like, check out it's so hilarious. The seats are like Titan seats. It's even Scottish seats.
Oh, fuck off.
Did you ask for that or pay for it? That's what it comes with.
I think all of the GTIs have like Titan seats. So I was just like, it's a nice little thing. But at the end of the day, we're fucking human. Like,
And people relate to that better. Like, with all like my like Boy King Koi Instagram socials, the posts that do better are like shitty candid photos that are like, no, like I put press shots up, they do alright. I do shots of me DJing, they do alright. But it's the photos of like just random shit that does better, because people can relate to it.
Exactly.
It's like not everyone's a DJ, so not everyone can relate to, oh, I'm excited to be playing this gig. Some people are like, oh yeah, whatever. But then you post like a photo of you at the beach or something. Everyone's like, oh, I love the beach.
Yeah, like, exactly. Like, we're all human. We all like to do things. We all got hobbies, interests, and shit. And it's good to show that and unfortunately, I am a little bit. My socials are very well, especially my Instagram is very much focused on my music, but that's what I feel like it's important to me. I don't feel like any need to show what else I do, because to be honest, I really don't do that much else apart from music. So
but it can be this. Wait, and I said this to someone. It can be as easy as this: a photo of you playing on record box, like with record box,
Yeah.
or Spotify or whatever, and just the caption says, "I found so much good music over this COVID break. What are the best tunes that you've found?" Like, ask people, and
Yeah.
that is a golden post. Like, everyone out there, if you're a DJ or whatever, do a post like that, asking a question with you know, doing the guts of it, and
Yeah.
you watch how many people are like. Even I just did like, "What's your favorite genre?" I did a post on Instagram the other day. What's your favorite? You know, what's your favorite genre? And like, bulk responses, bulk engagement, just
Yeah.
because people are like, "Oh, it's this," like, you know.
Yeah, exactly. You know, as I said, we're fucking human at the end of the day. We have interests, we have hobbies,
Yeah.
we've got other parts to our life that's, you know, not all about music. So, you know, not everyone's. But as I said, but in saying that, if you want to make your, as I said, I make all my Instagram is just pictures of me playing, pictures of
Yeah.
my press shots, and that's at this time I'm happy with that. So there's nothing wrong with that, but. You know, obviously, you're 100% right. But if I was sitting here complaining like, "Oh, why is my socials not growing?
Yeah,
Why
then
am I
it
not
would be
getting
different. Yeah, yeah.
engagement?" And like, you know, and I was sitting there saying, "Oh, but I only
You got to
post-"
focus on it for it to be it.
Yeah,
If you're not
exactly.
focusing on it, then you're like, well, obviously, yeah.
Exactly. So so yeah, so that's, as I said, that's what I really try and focus on, trying to make myself stand out, and I, as I said, I recommend that to anyone, that if you're struggling to find out why, you know, why you're not getting gigs and why you're not getting booked and why you're not getting traction, is yeah, fucking that was funny. Is yeah, what's gonna make you stand out
Yeah.
compared to everyone else.
Yeah.
So
Put yourself in the shoes of the person booking you,
exactly.
the venue or whatever.
Yeah,
So what do
we've
I bring
all
to the table
become-
that other people don't, or whoever it is that's, yeah.
Yeah, we've all become a little bit closed-minded, where we need to sort of see perspective from other people's views and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I'm enjoying these beers.
Wakachangi, man. These are
what
New
a-
Zealand beer.
New Zealand beers.
Yeah, they're really good, man. They're and actually, let's do an announcement. You already know about this, but
Okay.
for everyone out there, I'm starting to make a beer with candles, scented candles.
Fuck yes.
So they're going to be, I've got a glass cutter, and you've probably all seen that online, the glass cutter thing, how you can cut. So I'm cutting bottles. So they're beer bottles. They're in a beer bottle, and they're beer scented. And so here's the beer scent. Have a little smell of this.
Okay.
It's not Amel or Jungle Juice or anything.
Okay. I wish it was, but damn.
But have a little smell of that. It's not. Okay. Oh, it's got a bit of an after smell of beer, but it's not.
Hold on.
It's not exactly.
Yeah. Okay. That's.
It's a sweet scent to it.
Yeah. It's
It's
very...
not. It's not. People. Everyone's like beer scent.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not like 100% beer, but it's like, it's a nice smell.
It's quite. It's quite fruity. It's a little bit colorful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fruity. So yeah, we'll be doing candles coming very soon. I've got all the stuff. I just have to make them. They'll be handmade,
Beautiful.
hand cut glass.
All directly from you.
Hand everything. I'll be doing it all myself.
Beautiful.
It'll be labeled and everything. Coming soon for purchase for anyone out there who wants to buy
and then
one.
with that,
If you miss the pub and you want the smell of the beer from the pub,
yep,
light a candle. Listen to the podcast and put the candle on while you have a beer.
dim the lights. You know, get maybe a nice warm jumper on.
Yeah.
Maybe as I said, maybe get a little bit of chocolate, light the candles, get the
A little
mood
bit of
going.
chocolate.
You know, just set the mood a little bit.
That reminds me, Emily, if you're watching, your marble chocolate was delicious that night.
Oh,
She left chocolate here.
yeah.
And then like
She's left chocolate on mine. I've just hit her up. I'm going, "Do you want this?" And she'd be like, "Have it."
I didn't
as
even
soon
hit-
as I get the all clear, bang, it's gone.
I didn't even hit her up. I was just like, I'm just gonna eat it, and I didn't even really like chocolate. But I ate it because she was like so keen on it.
Yeah.
And then she left it here. I was like, oh, I'm definitely eating this.
The worst one I did was so I bought back in Easter. I bought Kate an Easter egg.
Yeah.
It was like
Just Kate.
Just Kate, yeah. So I bought her an Easter egg for Easter, and she came around to mine. She left it at mine, and it was sitting there for about a month. And it wasn't lint, but it was a nice chocolate. And I ended up hitting her off, and I was like, "So you know that You know
That chocolate I
you know
bought
that
you.
chocolate Easter egg I bought you? Yeah. I know the funniest part was I was on FaceTime to her at the same time whilst I was eating her fucking Easter egg. And I felt like a bit of a dick. So I am a slut for chocolate though.
Really? Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't even like chocolate.
Really?
Not really.
True, yeah.
I'm
Oh,
not a chocolate person.
it's a really bad I've got a really bad sweet tooth, so
Yeah, I don't at all. Like, cause I was on keto for ages.
really, yeah.
And I love that diet. I just I got too skinny though.
Really?
Well, because I wouldn't be hungry, man. I'd be trying
Yeah.
to eat
You
as
just
much
be
as
fasting.
I'd be
like-
trying to eat as much as I can when I would eat, but I'd just never be hungry.
Yeah,
And it was
true.
like you'd eat as much as you can, and then like you just wouldn't be hungry for ages. And then so I had to start eating like potato and putting carbs back in. But because I wouldn't have any sugar, I didn't have any sugar for so long. Now like chocolate is like sickly sweet
Yeah,
to
see,
me.
I
It's
like
so sweet, man.
chocolate, ice cream, lollies, like I'll
Yeah.
fucking smash that shit, bro.
Although the one thing is like my one guilty pleasure of like lollies or whatever is like the like Haribo Tang Fastics.
Oh
It's like
yeah. Oh,
the
hell
combination
yeah.
of ones with all the
Oh,
sugar
yeah.
and the sour sugar.
The
sugar.
one fucking me and Kate have been smashing at the moment is the new Allen sours.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, holy fuck, bro, those are like unbelievable. I actually, it was like I bought a packet the other day and it was like gone in like 3 minutes. I was like, that's so fucking embarrassing.
You're like, that's so bad.
But it fucking felt so good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And that's like that. I always say like everything in moderation, including moderation, which means like sometimes you've got to like fucking like go all out. Like you've
I
got to
like
have a
that.
blowout and stuff. Like like
Yeah.
moderation, everything in moderation, including moderation. Sometimes you don't be moderate, you go all out.
Yeah.
And that's like me when I buy like a bag of those lollies. Like it's not like I'll have a couple. It's like no, if I buy a bag of those lollies, I'm gonna sit there and eat them all
Exactly.
in one sitting.
Exactly.
Like,
but then you don't buy them very often. So
Yeah.
I'm a little bit the same. Like I'll maybe buy like a bag of chips or like a block of chocolate. Like I'll fucking smash it in one sitting, but
Yeah.
then I'll give it like 3 weeks or something before I do it
Yeah.
again. So yeah, that's what like I've got a fucking terrible sweet tooth, and I'm just like crave it. So
I've got a terrible beer tooth.
beer tooth, really.
which is
Yeah.
which is probably why I can't have a sweet. If I had a sweet tooth as well, I'd probably be like massive.
Yeah, well, I've actually I was never really a huge beer drinker, and then I got into Stone and Wood, which apparently some people don't see as like a proper beer, but anyway, so that it got
Just
me
the
kind
pale ales and stuff.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Like the
yeah,
Stone and Wood
yeah,
pale,
well,
Pacific Ale.
yeah,
That's
those ones.
what most places have from Stone and Wood. I found.
Yeah, exactly. So I got
Yeah.
into them, and I was like, "Fuck, that's actually not bad."
Nice and fruity.
and then and then like 150 lashes and shit like that. So
so you
got
like your
into it.
pale ales?
Yeah, so but before I was never really huge. I was whiskey and Coke for a while, and then I still am rum and Coke, but I'm
But
sure.
what, like Bundy rum or like
Oh
spiced rum?
yeah, it's just like basic rum, like nothing, like
Because
nothing-
Bundy rum's different to rum. Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah.
Bundy is its own. Like it's not even rum. It's its own.
Yeah,
alcohol
well, I'll
almost.
drink Bundy rum, but then I'll drink Captain Morgan's and
Yeah,
shit.
because
So,
like Captain Morgan's is very different to Bundy rum.
yeah, exactly. But I'm sure I told you. So yeah, my partying just kind of got a little bit a little bit out of control towards the end of last year.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just got to the point where I was just drinking pretty much like Thursday to Sunday. Like, if I was going to Tuskie's on a Thursday, I was met Friday, Saturday night, and then I was going to Stockies on a Sunday. Like, excuse me, I was drinking a lot.
Yeah.
And I just remember I was sitting at New Year's Day foam party at the beginning of this year, and I was just like, fuck, like, what's the point of all this? Is this all worth it? Like, yes, obviously, enjoy myself and shit,
At
but
the time,
I
yeah.
just kind of like overkilled it, and I was like, what am I actually getting? Like, it's costing me money. It's fucking really unhealthy for me. I'm getting like really shit hangovers. Like, what is the reward worth it?
Yeah.
And I just sat there and said, honestly, no. So I said, look, I'm gonna go a month without it was originally a month without drugs and alcohol, and then so I sort of went that first month, and then I was like, oh, okay, like that wasn't too bad, kept it fairly controlled, and then I went 2 months without alcohol, and then it just kind of slipped into place where I was I've done 2 months.
I love it. I love it how like the first month was drug and alcohol free, and
Yeah.
then you're like, and the second month,
Look,
then I did it without alcohol.
Yeah.
And then,
Look, I don't want to shoot myself in the foot here.
yeah,
but look,
yeah. No incriminating evidence. No, you started having coffee again. That's what it was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
coffee.
it's-
That's a
it's-
drug.
it's kinds of coffees, but look, and as I said, look for me, I made a. I look. and at the end of the day, look, it's my life. I looked at it. I was like, look, for me, it was easier to give up. It was easier to give up alcohol than it was to give up the drugs.
Yeah.
Because as I said, I wasn't the drugs. Well, obviously, drugs cost money, but I was spending like fucking $200 on alcohol.
Alcohol's expensive.
Yeah, at the Met, I was paying like $200 a week,
especially at clubs and
dude. Yeah,
and
it was
that, like,
fucked.
drinks
And so
are,
yeah, so I wasn't. So yeah, I gave up drinking, and as I said, 2 months went by, and I was actually like, fuck, this isn't too bad. Like, and it just like clicked into place where it's just I just didn't drink. I didn't crave it. I didn't feel the need to, and yeah, so it was.
It's good to go through that so that you know that what that's like.
Exactly, and
then
I'm glad, yeah.
like it's like a lot of people will just like once they turn 18, they get immersed in that world. That's just their life.
Yeah,
and then you don't realize that when you have that break, there are all these other benefits and other things that are really good.
Yeah,
that you don't realize until
one of the biggest one. I was talking to my roommate about this. The biggest one that we've realized is with all the clubs being shut is actually how much alcohol, obviously with your weight, but we've realized it in the like it seems to. I don't know, for some reason we've realized that it's. Noticed it in people's faces get really bad when like when they drink a lot, like when we get a sesh freak pretty much, but yeah, you get it like really badly in your neck. And yeah, I had a fucking really bad double chin for a while, and once I gave up fucking drinking, I just noticed my neck became tighter and tighter, and then I was like, oh fuck, like there's my jaw. I haven't seen that for a fucking couple of years. And then I'd fucking go and lose it on the weekend.
I haven't seen it because it's dragging behind you. It's over in Ipswich, or you're in Ipswich and your jaw's still in fucking Brisbane.
And my jaw's still in Ipswich, kind of thing. So I realized, I was like, fuck. So I did 5 months without drinking, which was like, for me, for someone that was drinking every weekend,
for anyone, that's good.
Yeah, so I was pretty chuffed with myself, and then it was only until I did a beer with you.
Yeah, when you came to play the event.
Yeah, to do the event, and then I was like, well, it'd be rude not to.
I better have a beer.
I better have a beer.
The name has beer in it.
Yeah,
that's a good thing and the bad thing about me attaching beer to what I'm doing.
Oh, but
it's good because like I'm always drinking the beer when I'm doing something that's productive for what I'm doing.
Yeah,
but it's bad because I'm like kind of now known as someone who has to drink beer all the time.
Yeah,
it's almost like a given. Like people are like, oh, I'll have a beer with this. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Like even if I'm like not feeling like, I'm like, okay, I'll have a beer with you.
I have to. But so
it's a positive and it's a negative.
Yeah,
at
exactly.
the same time.
So got it. But I was always sitting there like through like the pit, like when we started like easing restrictions and stuff, like before I did the mix, I was like, okay, once everything opens back up, I'm going to start drinking. And then I did the mix. I was like, okay, well, now it's sort of, a fitting time to, start having a couple of beers. But then in saying
just keep it under control.
Exactly. And that's what I've done. Like I haven't, like I drink like maybe like every I would say like 3 weeks. Probably like I went out for a couple.
Everything
of
in moderation.
Exactly.
Moderation though. You'll have that one night where you just get plastered and you're just fucking like
Yeah, well,
like
dude,
that gig you were talking about on the Goldie where it's like
exactly.
pull over.
Dude, I remember like after a beer with, I remember getting home and just sitting there just going like, holy fuck.
I'm so especially because you hadn't drunk for so long.
Exactly.
It only takes.
But then and then I remember sitting there. I was just like, fuck, I do not feel like just before I went to bed. I was like, fuck, I don't feel well, and I was like, nah, fuck this. Made myself vomit. Had a tack bomb. As soon as I had that, I was like, dude, I'm sweet. Woke up the next morning, like first night drinking in 5 months. I woke up without a hangover because I had a fucking tack bomb before I went to bed.
What's your strategy with tack bombs? Do you have to do fingers down the throat, or what's your to make it?
See,
because I used to be because when I first started drinking, I used to get really sick in the stomach. Like my stomach would get all queasy, and then I'd have a spew and I'd be fine and I could keep drinking the whole night. So I got really good.
Exactly. He was telling me about that I think he calls them sacrifice beers.
Yeah.
So he has 3 beers to like fucking like line his stomach, and then he forces himself to throw up.
Yeah.
And then he's just sweet for like the next 20. But for me, so I was actually quite impressed with this record that I had. So before a beer with event, I hadn't thrown up since Touch Base last year.
Yeah.
But like I've been drinking like the whole time. I had to go out on the weekends and shit like that. Get absolutely hammered, but I would not throw up. And I was like, dude, I've gone like a year without throwing up. And then I was like, well, after I came home after the event, I was like, fuck, I do not feel well. I was like, nah, fuck this record. I'm just gonna puke.
Yeah.
And then it just like cold came out. So it was just fingers down the throat. And then it was like just came out, and I was like, got up, it's like, Sweet. Went to bed, woke up, and I was fucking completely fine. I was like, fuck yeah.
So I got so used to doing the tactical voms that I don't have to do the fingers down the throat. I literally can just go like,
really,
and make myself do it by like pulsating your stomach and like making like the feeling, and then eventually just go and just spew. Like,
true, yeah. No, I'm
although
not
I
that
don't
advanced.
spew as much as I used to because I don't get that sick feeling anymore. Like, no, it's like I'm just get drunk.
Fuck yeah, this is what people wants to listen to when they tune into a podcast.
Vomiting.
Yeah, two dudes talking about vomiting.
Vomiting. This is the peak of podcasting.
Yeah, legit.
Vomiting.
So no, I went out for a couple. I went out for a couple of drinks. Like, dude, I had like 6 rums, and I woke up this morning, and I was like, oh my god.
That's relevant because it was the rum. What's it called? Rum Jungle? Is that what the event's called?
Yeah, Rum Jungle. Yeah. No, that was cool. It was good to get back into like a little bit of normality. Like, I fucking miss the Met, and I keep telling everyone like. Now that it's gotten like...
It's going to be interesting to see when they open.
Yeah, it's been like 5 months since... Is it 4 or 5 months since... 4 months since they closed March. I was actually fortunate enough to play the last event before they closed. Yeah.
3, maybe almost coming on 4.
Yeah, so... But like, it's now gotten to that stage where like the first couple of weeks, it was kind of like, oh, okay, something new, you know. Oh, I was like, it's only been a month since we've been at the Met, or it's only been a couple of weeks. It's like, whereas like now, the Met is actually like a memory to me. It's actually like a stored memory that like it's changed. It's like,
remember when we used to have to go to the Met? It's like a nostalgia thing. Like,
it is literally.
You remember?
It feels like.
I remember.
It literally feels like it's shifted. The memory has shifted to a different part of my brain, to like the nostalgia part of the brain, because it's been that long since we've gone.
In the long-term memory.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
remember
literally.
the Met? I remember.
So no, it was
That's
good.
a South Park reference for anyone who's the old member berries.
Oh yes, yes.
Yes. Oh, I remember.
So it was good last night to sort of get a bit of normality, to go and sit, have a couple of drinks, some music kind of shit. So
just to be out.
Yeah, just to be out with people.
I remember when I went out, I was like, "We're out." Everyone, we're out.
Yeah.
We're out. Like, everyone's like, we're out.
Literally. So, but no, it was good. I want to if we go back, because I was saying I played the last event on the 14th of March. I played Ben Anthony and Friends.
Yeah.
So I was put into a really interesting spot. So I was put on from 9:45 till 10:30.
Yeah.
So it's a really weird time, because it's kind of like the Met doesn't really kick off till about 10:30, 11ish. Yeah. So it's like I think I had Alexander Adson was on from 9 till 9:45. Yeah. And I was like, fuck, like, you know, like, obviously from being with the Met so much, I knew the club was going to be empty at that time when I hopped on. So I kind of thought, I said, look, what am I going to, like, what's the night? And I kind of look, Ben's very tech, he's tech, bass house and techno, but he wasn't on till, as I said, he was on at 12, and I was only on until 10:30, and I sort of sat there and I thought, like, what's the best thing to do in this situation? And I had to think about my time slot, and then I had to think about that fucking Aiden was playing after me.
Yeah.
And I sort of thought, look, I'm not gonna play like underground tech, like, because I knew I had to play tech house, because like, you know,
that was the vibe.
That was the vibe. That was that I knew, like, that's what Ben was probably go from tech house into bass house into maybe like techno or something. And as I said, I knew Aiden's tech house. So I was like, look, obviously I can't fucking play bass line, and I can't play bass house, so I knew it was gonna be tech house. Yeah. But then I had to think, and I was like, well, instead of just playing a good set that I think are all these like tunes that no one's ever heard before, why don't I actually do the opposite? I'm actually gonna do the opposite. I'm gonna play fucking tech house people know, and also mashups that people can sing along to. Yeah. And I actually made a really nice blend of probably like 50-50 to like commercial tech house to underground tech house. Yeah. And it what it did, so I fucking did. I hopped on, the dance floor was fucking empty. Yeah. And I remember Badger was playing a gig before, and I just see him. I literally play my first song at 9:45, and I just see this little fucking man run down the stairs, get to the fucking bottom of the stairs, and then just look at me come sprinting towards the fucking decks. And he's like, he just fucking screams, and he just starts rinsing it on the dance floor. And I was like, fuck yes. And then his roommate Doug fucking came along, and the two of them are just going ham on the dance floor. And all of a sudden, just fucking people just coming out, start everywhere. And I was played like fucking.
It just takes one person to start.
Literally.
Sometimes, eh?
And so like I played like fucking shit like San Francisco. And then so yeah, it's just like really kind of commercial shit, and then like played like Eminem tech house remixes of Eminem and shit like that.
So you basically played a pro-y set.
Pretty much, it was,
it's like because that's kind of the vibe of pro-y. Like
so
you can't get away with playing more of the underground stuff, but you got to play like a little bit of
it was
stuff.
so it was literally
just like that's what you said. You did 50-50.
Yeah,
it was.
I literally just thought I was like, dude, I'm just gonna get people onto the dance floor. That was my goal. I was like, look, I'm actually gonna pretend Aiden's the headliner, and I'm gonna get a fucking crowd there for him.
Yeah,
because as I said, time fucking it's an hour and a half between I finish to when Ben starts. So there's no point in being like, oh, I'm gonna build a crowd for Ben when there's someone on after me. So that's how I thought. Look, I'm going to fucking practice. No, sorry, I'm not going to practice. I'm going to pretend that Aiden's the headliner and focus on getting a crowd for him because he's also a fucking big name. He's been a resident as a Met. He fucking owns X-Cargo. So he's also a fucking big person to have play after me.
Yeah.
So that was my mentality about it, was just like, okay, how can I get as many people as possible onto the dance floor singing along and shit, because I knew that's what was going to get the results. And that's fucking what I did. Like, as I said, just play like commercial shit that people could sing along to, but it was also like dancey. And dude, it was probably my best set I've ever played.
Yeah.
Because it was something I don't usually play. It was me playing to the time, not playing to my sound.
Yeah. And which is valuable for like you need to know how to do
exactly
that.
Like exactly the fact that I had to put my ego aside and be like, okay, I can't play my usual fucking sound. I've got to accommodate to it's got to
be appropriate.
Yeah, exactly. You've actually got to think about other people when you do it. And as I said, so that was a really big, and I was really proud of myself for doing that. And as I said, you got to look back at these moments and be like, you know what, fuck, I actually did really well there. That was a really great decision. And then you also need to look back at times where I was like, and then I look back at that pro set playing bass house wasn't a great idea, but it is what it is, and I learned from it. So it is really valuable to be able to play to your time slot. And it's quite funny, like I remember being at a house party and like they had fucking decks set up there, and like these like fucking, I think they were just like playing like rhythm at the fucking like 9 o'clock at a house party, and I was like, get the fuck out of here, like get out of here. Fucking put my USB in, and then again played like Dom Dollar, like that kind of shit, like 9 o'clock. Funny enough, all the fucking girls start coming, then I start playing bass house, and then I put it into bass line, and then everyone's like, okay, like this is cool, he's bringing the energy up, and then like fucking, and then I was like, okay, you said, now we can go.
There's a difference between someone who's a mixer and a DJ.
Exactly.
That's exactly what you're like. That's like a perfect example.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, so I mixed the house, and then they're like, okay, Dom Dollar, like, dude, it's 9 o'clock, it's a house party, like people don't want to be fucking rinsing at that time. They're like, people are still rocking out, getting the drinks, so they're like, okay, like sing along kind of shit. Build it up, went into bass house, went into bass line, and then all right, now the party's starting, getting the energy, and then fucking went, and then that's when we went into dub. So that's what I mean when it is really valuable to read the crowd, that you can't just fucking rinse rhythm whenever you want. And it's a shame because we sit and it's unfortunate that we just pick on rhythm because it's unfortunately it's a genre that not everyone loves, so it's easy to sort of pick on, that it can sort of come across a little bit annoying. But it's I wish I could fucking play bassline whenever the fuck I want, but I can't. So
have you ever heard of the rule of three principle? The rule of three?
I don't think I have.
So it's when you're DJing the set. It's like ultimately it's called the rule of three principle, but it's like every 3 songs you do. So you do one for you, one for the crowd, and one for both of you. True. So one that you will love that some of the crowd might love, but it's not necessarily for them. Yeah. One that you maybe don't love, but the crowd will love. Yeah. And then one that you love that the crowd will love. And if you can do that all night, that's how you can sort of like gauge. And I suppose it's just a ratio really. Yeah. Because then you can sort of introduce new music to people, but also play stuff cool. They like, and actually, still enjoy your night too, because you're still playing some stuff that you really love. Yeah, and then you're playing some stuff that the crowd loves. I've actually never heard of that. Yeah, the rule of three. There's a heap of these. There's a heap of these old school DJ principles that used to be like things that a lot of people don't know about. That like. Yeah, I was just speaking to Badge this morning, Badger, and told him about like rotating the dance floor. Like that's another like concept that that used to, some bars used to like you doing, which is like peaks and troughs in your sets, so that like you build it up so everyone dances, and then you drop it back to something everyone knows with less energy, so the people on the dance floor go, "Oh, I'm going to get a drink." Yeah, exactly. And then the people who are just drinking, like, "Oh, I know this song." Like, and then you build it back up, so you bring them in, and so you sort of rotate it through. But there's all these like strategies and principles that used to be, because you used to be trying to make money for the venue. It wasn't just about building a dance floor; it was about getting them to sell
Yeah,
drinks, like,
and that's the thing. Yeah, it's not just the fact that you can just sit there and play whatever you want for an hour.
Yeah.
It's is at the end of the day, like the reason why we pay like DJs are paid so much is because it's a fucking skill not many people can do, and you've got to take into shit like. Dude, how many fucking other jobs do you know that pay like fucking $80 an hour or whatever? Like that's although yes, you're only doing it for an hour, but the reason why it's so fucking high is because like you've got to actually think about what you're doing, and it's a fucking, as I said, it's a skill not everyone can do. Like, and unfortunately, with it is getting to that point where there are so many DJs out there, but how many DJs can, as I said, fucking actually play well to their time slot? That's a little bit out of their fucking comfort zone. So
I said this to Cameron. I'll say it again. There's a difference between a normal, like anyone can DJ, and then there's a big difference between a DJ, a good DJ, and a great DJ.
Yeah.
Like anyone can be a DJ.
Yeah.
A lot of people can be good DJs.
Yeah.
Not many people can be great DJs.
Yeah.
Like, there's a big jump. There's a big difference between a really great DJ and a DJ.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all it's really as simple as that. But my next thing I'm really focusing on is my production. That's what I've now realized.
So you're trying to get into it because you were on Logic, right?
Yeah.
You were just talking about that before, and I know we've given you a bit of a serve in some of the Friday knockoffs about
Fuck
being
you,
a Logic
Storm.
user.
Yeah.
I don't mind Logic though. Like I've there's many tutorials and like fucking courses and stuff that I've done and watched and that where they work in Logic, and it looks quite good.
It's so the only reason why I use Logic is because when I was at school we used GarageBand, and Logic is an extension.
It's an extension of GarageBand. It's a more complicated
so
version.
it's same shortcuts, same layout, that kind of stuff. So that's the only reason why I used it was because I was familiar with it, and also because I could get a fucking cracked version of it really easily. So that's why
Allegedly.
Sorry, allegedly.
I'm looking out for you, bro. I don't care. I don't care. Not that anyone's gonna Apple are gonna be like, oh, you didn't pay for that, really? Yeah. We're gonna sue you.
Yeah, well, allegedly on an old computer that I don't have anymore.
yeah.
But no, I've gotten to the point where I'm just like, okay, there's a big gap, and I've now come to accept that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get Ableton. I'm gonna start from an absolute clean slate. I'm gonna go to Storm and just be like, look, bro, just get me teach me. I'm gonna teach me from zero and teach me to come something, and then I can go from there. So I'm really looking forward to, as I said, just starting on an absolute clean slate, starting from the absolute basics again, because I'm at this kind of weird point with Logic where I kind of know what I'm doing, but I also really don't.
Yeah.
I like to think I know what I'm doing.
And that's the big difference. That's why I recommend Ableton to so many people, is because apart from the fact I think the workflow and the way it works is so intuitive and user-friendly, but also so many people use it that you can get help from so many people. There's so many people out there who you can just hit up, like Storm, or I'm more than willing to help people, and there's heaps of people out there who do Ableton stuff, and it's like, but how many people do
hence why I'm stuck
in Logic or
stuck in the mud with this Logic, because it's hard to find decent tutorials and shit like that. So I've just gone, right, I'm going to start with an absolute clean slate, go from the basics, and then that should hopefully be enough to just kind of go, all right, now I know what I'm doing, and get the ball rolling. So that's my next step. So I said to Storm, I set a goal for myself. I didn't a little bit of an unrealistic goal, but it was something in place just for as something was I said to myself the other day, I was like, look, in a year's time, I want to be able to tag my own song in an Instagram story. Yeah, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, to have it on.
Yeah, to
put it out.
Exactly, put a picture on my Instagram story and put my song, have a clip of my song playing on my Instagram story. And then I just talked to Storm about it, and he was like, "Dude, there's fucking 5 steps you need to do before you can do it." And I was like, "Okay," but it's still I'm still gonna keep that goal. And he said, "No, keep that goal," but just realize okay, right.
Just realize it may not be a great song.
No, he just said realize there's a lot of steps to doing it, but it's a good goal to have. And I've never really been someone to set goals until I've actually started seeing results. And now that I'm actually seeing results, I'm actually going, oh, okay, so setting goals is actually fucking quite a good idea.
Yeah, it's actually good.
Like literally, I've always just tried to sort of get by. I've never really had anything like in place.
Yeah.
Whereas like now I'm sort of realizing, okay, as I said,
is that an insecurity though? Like insecurity
fuck oath,
and lack of confidence? Because it's like if
I
I put out a goal and I don't fail, and I don't get it, like I'm gonna feel like shit because you don't maybe have the confidence or believe in yourself.
I just never had like the. I always thought, oh, why would you write goals down, or like why can't you just like just strive to be the best? And I didn't. And as I said, so now that I've realized, I was like, cool. In 12 months' time, like I want to have my own song on my Instagram, like on my Instagram story. Like, okay, it might fucking take a while to get there, but that just means I've got to work hard. I know I've got the passion to do it. I sit on the deck. Like if I do what I do on the decks, fucking every day, like I'll easily get there. Like I know I will. Because I've proven to myself.
The thing is though that there's a big difference between, I always say, like DJing's fun and production's work, because when you're DJing, you do cool shit that sounds awesome all the time.
Yeah.
When you're producing, you've got to listen to shit for a long time, and eventually it starts sounding good. But it's like at the very start of any tune you start, you're like, oh man, this sounds so bad. Like.
But it's the exact same with DJing. Like your transitions are fucking gonna sound shit to start off with, but then something clicks, something works, something sounds cool, and you're like that keeps you motivated, that keeps you going. And I'm hoping the same thing happens with music production. Like I know it's gonna be shit at first, but hopefully
You just got to get used to listening to shit stuff.
Yeah.
And not judging it too much, being like it's shit now, but it's gonna sound better later.
Exactly. And also realizing, look, if I don't go through it, you have to go through the shit to get to the good. Like you've got to go through the dirt to get to the gold. That kind of thing.
Exactly.
So yeah.
You're lucky, but man, there's heaps more resources out there these days. Like,
and dude,
when Storm started, when I started, like all the people around that sort of like era.
Yeah.
Man, YouTube tutorials were not really a thing. Like there was some, but it wasn't like you couldn't type in how to make this bass line or how to sound like this or how to do this or anything specific. It was like just basic tutorials. Like it wasn't now where you can literally, how do I do that? And you just type it in.
How to make excision basses or
how do I do this? Anything you want to do, you just type it in and you're like, oh, that's how you do it.
Yeah. And as well with that, I know I'm so fucking fortunate to have such a fucking good support network that I've got Storm, I've got you. I know if I hit up fucking Art Supplies, he'll fucking look after me. You know, I know so many people that can fucking really look after me. You know?
Yeah, that's why I almost get jealous of people these days who are like starting production, because I'm like, all the guys who like I see start in the last year, 2 years, or in the last couple of years, everyone progresses so quick because there's so many tools, there's so many tutorials, so much information. Whereas I remember back in the day, it was like, how do you sidechain? And then it's like you have to like, it took ages to like filter through. There wasn't videos. It was like blogs where it was written, and so you had to like read it and like, oh, okay, like there just wasn't that information that there is now. So you guys are really lucky. I do get jealous of the progression that I see people making these days, because there's so much information, and there wasn't DJ schools, production schools. They didn't exist. Yeah, it wasn't a thing.
Exactly.
Like you couldn't pay for a course to do production, or you couldn't. You had to sort of know someone or just figure it out yourself.
And literally, So, but on that note, I'm absolutely fanging for a piss.
Let's go take a piss. We're going to take a piss and then we'll be back.
Beautiful.
See you guys soon. Well, and we are back.
Well, we got one beer left.
Oh, I should get more. Wait.
No, I'm driving, so you can't. My
you have that one.
No.
Oh, you can't have one?
Honestly, no, I'm gonna leave it too.
You can't.
It's a brand new car.
You can't get pulled over in your new car. Yeah. So I want to know about growing up here, coming over at 8. How was that? Coming with a Scottish accent, kids can be quite brutal. I think it would be all right when you're 8. That's what, grade 3, grade 2,
grade 2.
I think that's better than coming at like high school or something. You know what I mean? Like 13, 14 would be a pretty average time to come over to a new spot.
Yeah. As I said, I hadn't, obviously I was fucking 8 years old, so I obviously I had friends and stuff like that, but I wasn't sort of invested in sort of anything major. So yeah, it wasn't too bad. Yeah, it was fine. It was a very average life. Well, no, sorry, I don't want to say. No, I will say this. I had a very average, growing up. It was really nothing special. As I
Yeah.
said, my parents were together for a while, but then everything kind of changed in 2017.
Yeah.
Sorry, so at the end of 2016, so on Boxing Day, my dad left.
Yeah.
My dad left my mom. It was a big kind of shock. And yeah, I fucking had like did not nobody saw it coming kind of thing, and it was unfortunately it was a very just a sudden up and out kind of thing, and it was very tough at the time, and so what that led to into 2017 was sort of I went through a bit of a difficult time sort of mentally.
Yeah.
Obviously that
Your whole world
yeah,
changes.
that's a big thing to happen. I was at uni,
Yeah.
so I was trying to do all this uni work, and I remember I was trying to do, it was like the first week of January or something like that,
Yeah.
that, and I was doing an assignment, and I was trying to post it like 5 minutes before it was due, and it wasn't posting, and I just got like really angry for some reason, and I just went fucking bang, punched my wall, hit the fucking beam in the wall, the wooden beam, broke my last knuckle. So I
Oh,
was
so
in,
you did it. It's not the classic punch a hole in the wall.
yeah,
like,
it didn't go
classic,
through.
bang. Oh,
Yeah, it was.
ah!
It was a fucking. Oh, jeez! Like what? Holy fuck!
Why did I do that?
Yeah, literally. So I fractured a knuckle in my.
Fuck you, pass Greg.
Yeah, literally.
Like,
So yeah, so I fractured a knuckle fractured a knuckle. So I was in a cast for 4 weeks. So this was my beginning of 2017. My dad had just left. I fucking so they then to help with the stress of my family breaking up, they prescribed me with Valium. Let's give a fucking 19-year-old Valium. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I broke my fucking hand. Like all this shit was going on. I got fucking addicted to the Valium. So I didn't realize at the time, I said this was pre-Met days, pre-party days. Like I'd go out and drink and shit like that, but I wasn't really invested in the party scene, and I'd never done drugs before. So yeah, not even weed or anything like that. So I was having these I was having these Valiums, and I didn't realize like that I was fucking getting hooked on them. And then I started. It was like one a day, and it was fine. And then all of a sudden, I started having like 2 a day, and then started getting more. And I was like, "Fuck, these are like really good." And then it got to the point that where like I think I ended up having 13 in one day.
Yeah.
13 Valium in one day, and I just remember like being high.
That's too many
That's
Valiums.
wait. If
You
anyone
should
do
not
not
have that.
fucking yeah. That was like the dumbest thing I've ever done. Like it. Yeah, I don't know why I did it. Like it was the dumbest fucking thing, and fucking what that dude. It led to the worst fucking come down ever in my entire life.
It's like an anxiety come
Dude,
down.
no, it was suicide. It was hands down suicidal fucking come down. It was really weird. I felt like I felt possessed. I felt like there was something in me that I like had to like, and I remember trying to cut. I remember I had a broken. I was at the beach with my friends, and we just finished a uni assignment. Our last uni exam, and I said it was at the peak of my fucking Valium addiction, and I literally just fucking punched my brother in the face that morning, and I remember going to the beach and fucking started drinking cruisers because that's a fucking great idea, and I just remember like something ticked me off, and I just remember getting like really fucking angry, and I felt something like there was a demon in me, and I remember having like a broken piece of glass, trying to trying to open my arm open to it wasn't I trying to slit my wrist kind of it was like there's something in me I need to get out kind of thing, and it just led to this fucking horrible calm down, and yeah, I lost all my friends, and so and so that's put me at like absolute fucking at ground zero. So that just shows that like, dude, like I of course I thought that was like I was in the absolute down in the dumps. Like my dad had just left.
Yeah.
I fucking got hooked on prescription drugs. I'd tried to fucking kill myself. Like I had all these negatives. Like I was doing really shit at uni as well. Of course, like I sat there and thought I was down in the dumps. But like, look at I'm fucking the fact that I can sit here and talk about this is I can see like it just goes to show
since
then. Yeah, exactly. It goes to show that like fucking shit changes if you just keep fucking pushing through it. Like shit changes. And
that's it. Like people always think like, oh, this is me forever.
Yeah.
Like whenever it's like I work at a primary school, like, and little kids when they're sick or when they hurt themselves, they think, well, this is me forever now. I'm always going to feel like this. You know, like they're
Yeah.
sick, they got a headache, and they've never had a migraine before. They're like, is this my life now?
Yeah.
Am I going to have a headache forever? This is the worst. But, you know, you don't
Yeah.
realize that you change and you
Yeah, exactly.
you enjoy
And-
different things. You get, you know,
Yeah,
you're always changing.
dude. And that's what I mean. Like, dude, if you fucking sit there and tell yourself that you've hit rock bottom, that's when you've hit rock bottom. Is
Yeah.
when you accept the fact that you've hit rock bottom
Yeah.
and you don't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Like, because that is when you've truly hit rock bottom. And so like it just goes to show that like no matter like what happens, if you just keep pushing through it, if you just like you just got to think positively. Like as I said, I've been trying to help so many of my mates at the moment, like that. I had a friend, she was fucking like sitting on the balcony like bawling her eyes out thinking she hit rock bottom, and I was just sat there and said, look, if you're gonna sit there and tell yourself that you've hit rock bottom, like that's when you have. Like life is like it's a fucking wave. You have your ups and your downs.
It's a sine wave.
It's a sine wave.
Me and my mate, we got real high one time and we were like, oh man, life's like a sine wave. There's like ups and downs. It's peaks and troughs.
Yeah,
like,
but it seriously is, and you can't expect if you're living your life expecting to be happy 100% of the time, you're a fucking idiot, and like you're gonna crash. Trust me, and you're gonna crash hard.
Yeah.
If you sit going through life trying to sit maybe accepting that 75% of the time you're gonna be happy and 25% you're gonna have negatives. Like if you that's the perfect balance when you accept the fact that you're gonna have negatives, you're gonna live a happier life.
Yeah.
And then that's where I'm fortunate enough to sort of come to accept that, like, that shit's gonna happen. You can't change that.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so
but
important.
it's like you said earlier, bring it back to at the start of the podcast where you said it's about, like recognizing that you can only do like changing your perspective on
exactly.
it. It's like you can always change your perspective. And I'm really like I'm huge about that, like reframing things. It's like, oh, you didn't get the gig. Well, that means that you've got more time to work on you know, like you didn't get that gig or you didn't win that DJ comp. All right, well now you need to work harder because what did they do better than you? And why did you not win?
Exactly.
Now work harder. Like there's always ways to reframe things to go, all right, that was a learning experience.
Yeah.
Like
the last thing you'd want to do and you just don't take it as a sign of failure. Take it as a sign of learning. Just be
growth,
like, yeah, exactly. Because the last thing you would want is to get an opportunity when you're not ready and it fucks you for the rest of your the rest of your fucking time. The last thing you want is to be booked for something that you weren't prepared for. It comes off badly and it ruins the rest. Like that's the thing, and that's with I'm that's why I'm glad I'm not. I've been going to the Met for like almost 3 years now. And I'm kind of glad that I'm waiting to making sure that I'm actually the best I can. So like, because I'm gonna sit there, like I don't know, if the guys in the Met are gonna ever book me to be a resident, like I don't know. I hope so. It's my goal. And like the last thing I want is to. And I just want to make sure that when that opportunity comes, I'm the best that I can be. The last thing
and you do it right. You do a good job. You want to do a good job when you get there.
Exactly. The last thing you want to do is get booked for when you're not ready and you lose that opportunity and it ruins your brand and you've lost everything. So sometimes it is a little bit better to get knocked down a couple of times, be told no. Just take it as a sign that all right, I need to grow. I need to stand out a little bit more.
I need to work harder.
Exactly. Yeah.
I need to be hungrier. I need to do more. I need to practice more.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, dude, fucking people. Yeah, people don't realize this, but yeah, practice literally makes perfect. Like, it's when it comes to anything, not just music. Like, I've realized this with like work and shit like that because my the last 12 months, my work's all been sales work. It's whether it's been retail. I've done door-to-door residential. I've done events. I've done business to business. I'm now in customer support. Like. It's which
retail,
which all entails like handling customers and money and stuff like that. Dude, you can't go. I did door to door for Alinta for about like 6 months last year. Like every morning we went into the office was pitch practicing because it was cold calling. You were knocking on people's doors trying to get them to switch electricity company. Like people aren't just gonna say yes to that kind of shit. So what we did was every day was pitch practice, pretending that fucking that
what could you have done better?
Exactly.
What,
Yeah. Well, like, pretending to, there's a customer at the door, and yeah, exactly, getting feedback. Dude, I know the guys that were in that office for like 2 years. They still did exactly the same. Were practicing the exact same way that the guys that had been there for 2 weeks were practicing.
Yeah.
Not so. I mean, not in like saying that practicing exact, but still doing the pitch practice, doing the basics, making sure that like you've got everything covered.
Yeah.
And as I said, it just the more you practice anything, it's just gonna do it. And sometimes you got to force yourself just to kind of like sit there and yeah, you got to try and make it. How is this going to like become entertaining for you? How are you going to get hooked onto this? Because as soon as you do, as soon as that ball gets rolling, trust me, it fucking like, yeah, that's all I'm speaking from experience. It's just like once that ball got rolling, like I don't sit there and practice. Like I don't think of what I do every afternoon as practice. I play. It's fun. It's sit there like I'll like fucking. I was literally talking to Kate the other night. I had to say to her,
you were.
Fuck up. This guy.
I had to throw a little Kate jab in there. I had to throw it in.
And for me, mixing isn't. It's not practice. It's an unwinding. It's a stress reliever. And I was in I was in a fucking really foul mood, and I was being a dick to her for some reason. I was like, look, I'm gonna have a mix. Like, give me an hour. I'll come back and talk to you. And yeah, I said to her, I was like. Yeah, as I said, I just mixed for an hour, and it just kind of like everything came out. Because what I do, what I have
everything
at home
melts away.
It literally. So I at home my setup. So I've got like a small dining table for like it's like fit for 2 people, but it's quite long. And then I've got my speakers, my decks, and it's against a blank white wall.
Yeah.
And what I do, so I always practice through the headphones because it's not really healthy. It's not healthy for my ears, but because also obviously like not coming through the speakers. Obviously, one being because I live in an apartment block, my neighbors aren't hearing it. Yeah. But the second reason, the main reason why is because especially when I record mixes, or because all my mixes are on the decks. When you mix through the headphones, you're hearing exactly what's being recorded, and what you're listening to on the headphones is what the people are going to hear on their end through the headphones, kind of thing.
The other thing too is if you go to, and I don't know how many smaller venues and bars and stuff like cocktail bars and pubs and that, a lot of those places don't have good booths, so they don't have monitors right there. So like the only speaker that's playing like sound, the closest one will be like on the other side of the room, so there's a delay. So it's like if you can't mix in your headphones and you're using the headphones and the booth, which is the master that's out there, it's actually there's a delay, so it's not in time. So it's when you have those sort of circumstances where you don't have a booth monitor right there that's like like pumping straight at you, it's really valuable to be able to mix in your headphones, because then you go to that venue and you're like, oh, I can mix because I don't have to worry about
it's just as simple. So all it is so you put a master cue on, and then you just bounce. So the channel that you have up, the cue is obviously going to be off, and then the channel that you're mixing in is you're going to have the cue on, and then you turn it off when you go to push it up, and then obviously you transition, turn it on, beat match, turn it off, push it up, that kind of thing. So when I do that, put the headphones on, I just get into the zone. I look at this blank white wall, and obviously I'm fortunate enough to play down in Coco, which is my favorite venue. And I just like sit there and I stand there and I just picture the fucking Coco booth, like the Coco rectangle kind of booth.
Visualize
just looking out into the crowd, and it just literally just melts like fucking everything away. And I came back and I like phoned her after like an hour, and I'm like, hey, I'm back.
I'm back, baby. I'm back.
And I was like, dude, but when people see, and that's the thing, when I'm in that hour as well, I'm uncontactable. You'll message me, people will call me. The only, even like, honestly, this is pretty bad. Even like my dad, if my dad calls me when I'm mixing, I'll 90% ignore it. Like, and that's just for me, it's just purely because it's just like I just get into the zone that I'm just unbreakable. Not unbreakable, but I just close myself off to the rest of the world for like an hour, and I just like really get into the zone. And then after that I was just like, oh shit, sorry, like I was having a mix. And so it's really important, as I said, it's meditation for me. As weird as that sounds, it's meditation for me. The fact that I have blaring loud music like coming through my headphones that I'm mixing, that's relaxing. That's like clears my mind. It just So that's it for me. It's a form of meditation, not a form of practice.
Yeah, that's it. Cameron was talking you up earlier about
Yeah,
how
really?
much practice you do.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, that dude practice." And when I started, I used to practice fucking like 2 hours a day,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Record it and then listen back to it.
Yeah.
And I even said to him, I was like, "Oh, I used to go to because I recognized early that mixing drunk is different to mixing sober, and if you practice mixing drunk, you can do it better."
Yeah.
So like, I used to live on college,
Yeah.
go to parties, drink, and then like get smashed, leave for an hour, do a mix, and then come back to the party.
Yeah.
And like just go and record a mix. And then,
Yeah.
But then you go back and you go, "Oh, I just did a mix. You guys want to listen to it?"
Dude, honestly, like, mate.
But that's important to like, practice in the state that you're going to be in.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, people don't think about that kind of stuff. Like, and you're kind of doing that when you do your mixes with the wall there, visualizing yourself in Coco.
Yeah.
Like that's another level of, like practicing with the mindset of where you're going to be.
Yeah, exactly. Because at the end of the day, if you're just standing there mixing, visualizing yourself in your fucking bedroom, what's the point of that?
Yeah.
Like that's
That's not where you want to mix.
Exactly. That's not your goal. So you've always got to picture yourself. That's why I love, as I said, standing against a blank wall, just because I can literally just visualize. But yeah, so. It just gets into that, as I said, that formation.
You just need to take a photo from Coco booth while it's like pumping.
Yeah.
And then just like blow it up and put it on the wall.
Yeah.
So you've actually got it there.
Yeah.
Like, or a little like GIF or like a video of people just dancing the whole time. Like a screen on the wall, just like
well, I think I just need to get back then to Coco and like
refresh. Well, it's got to open up again.
Yeah,
first.
Exactly. So maybe that's
fingers crossed that happens pretty soon.
Yeah, I've been saying this probably for like almost a year now. My biggest goal in terms of like geek wise, I really want to open a UK based night down in Coco, because like that. Like either the 9 till 10 or the 9 till 11, or probably the 11 till 12. I don't want the 12 to 1 or the 1 till 2.
Yeah.
I want the 11 till 12. That's my spot, because I know that is where I can play my sound. That's where I can flourish. And so that's what I'm really. So once the Met opens back up, hopefully I'll get in there and sort of have a chat to the boys. But it's a tough competitive market, and with everything sort of, it does seem to be a little bit that it's all about who you know rather than what you know.
Sometimes
Definitely. And I think, but I can tell you what for sure, if you don't fucking practice and you don't stop pushing, you're certainly not going to get the opportunities.
Yeah, for sure. Really interesting. Cameron was saying earlier, sorry to keep bringing up Badger's podcast we just did, but he went to Sioux Castle last night, and he said like it's got a Coco vibe, but a little bit more commercial.
Okay, yeah.
But like that Coco like downstairs, like closed in sort of vibe. So he was like, it's got a real like Coco vibe. So that could be really cool to go check out.
Definitely. Yeah,
and bloody Art Supplies messaged me like last night at like 12.
Yeah.
When I was about like in the Uber home.
Yeah.
From here, after Friday knockoffs, and he's like, "Oh man, what are you doing? Come to Sioux Castle." And I was like,
"Oh, was Jordan there?"
Yeah, because one of our Billy Janthorne Party Procedures, he's a mate of Jordan's who I know as well. Like used to do promotions at Capulet, and stuff with him, and then he moved to Tasmania for a while, and he's just come back recently, and he's a resident at Sioux Castle.
Yeah.
So like
where is Sioux Castle?
So it's like it's like where the strip joint is, all the strip joints are on Brunswick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like right on the end before, it's the last door before like the train station goes under. You know how the train station's across the road?
Yeah.
And the train line actually goes under the
Yes.
Right? So it's the last door before you hit that.
I had a feeling. I had a feeling it was roughly around.
Yeah, and it's just a door. It's just like a wooden door.
I should have checked it out. I should have checked it out last night, but I was at Sub Rosa. My phone was on 1%, and I was with some chick, and she was like, "Oh, I need to charge my phone in your car." So that's when we kind of just like ended up calling it at night. But
good, nice little. That sounds like a good pickup thing. Oh, I need to charge my phone in your car.
No.
You charge my phone in your car. Love line with Roger G.
Yeah, if you need,
This is Love Line with Roger G.
If you want to get in with a chick, just fucking
tell her you can charge your phone in my car.
Nah,
it's guaranteed to work every time.
So, I just as I said, I was just I wanted to go to Tsukasa, but as fucking cinema.
We'll go do a bit of a vibe one other time.
Yeah, we'll definitely. Because I think I wish there was more competitors to the Met.
Like, in terms of that.
Yeah.
Well, that's what is in the industry at the moment. Like back in the day, Family and Met used to be like fucking neck and neck, like hated each other, super competitive against each other, trying to outdo each other. And then like these days with all the closures of different places, it sort of feels like now each venue is like the niche. It's like that's what they do.
Yeah.
No one else is competing. Like everyone's got their own thing that no one's really competing with.
Yeah.
So it's like it's good for. I think that's good for maybe venues. It's probably bad for DJs and artists and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
But then competition's always good. It pushes people to do better and bigger things and try harder.
Yeah, it's a fine balance of competing with other people but not comparing yourself to other people.
Yeah,
it's very important that compete with them like in your own mind, but be supportive, obviously, when you're in person, not to be like, I'm gonna fucking do better than you, blah 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 blah, because that's just gonna set you back, and nobody's gonna fucking book you with that. So, but so how long were we running? Because I've got a bit of an afternoon.
It's like
plan.
I've been talking heaps. What anything else you want to talk about before we head off?
We've had
a bit of a chat about all this stuff. We've gone round in circles. Yeah, we've gone left, right, up and down. Yeah.
Pretty much. No, as I said, I really wanted to talk, obviously, from my experience of the scene.
Yeah.
I also want to sort of give some of my own advice. Hopefully, people that have listened to this sort of take something away from it, and also that anyone's listening to this, I'm always open to, if you want to fucking need some advice in terms of mixing, in terms of anything like that. If you need me to listen to me, I will try and listen to mixes. I usually try and get around to listening to them, but
have you listened to my Jimmy's Lockdown podcast mix yet?
I have not. I thought it was a speaking podcast, but
no, it was an actual mix.
An actual mix. Okay, no, fucking.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, do it, and I'll listen to it.
I didn't actually do it live. I mixed it in Ableton, so it's pretty hectic. There's a lot of times where there's like 4 tracks playing. Like
really?
pretty much the whole time, there's at least 2 tracks playing most of the whole set. Like So I tried to like really fucking. It's pretty hectic.
Yeah,
but like not hectic like hectic sounds and stuff. Just like lots going on all the time.
Yeah,
like,
my mixes are all done on the decks because
I usually this is the first time I've actually done an
so,
Ableton mix, I suppose. Yeah, and produce.
Yeah, no, but like, as I said, if anyone fucking if you want to fucking hit me up for either some advice, maybe some tips, listen to your mix, and also I'm open to fucking if you want some some I don't want to say lessons because I'm not going to charge, but if anyone wants some help in terms of mixing, I'm more than happy to help. If you've got RX2s or something like that, if I've got a free minute, I'll try and pop down and see if I can give some help, because as I said, what's the point of learning things if you're not going to share your
and teaching's one of the best ways to learn and like
exactly because it reassures what you know. Definitely
cements it in your mind.
Exactly. So that's about that. But
any final if anyone needs any relationship advice, hit him up as well. As we talked about earlier.
Look, no
Love Line with Roger G.
I'm certainly.
I reckon that could be a thing. Love Line with Roger G.
I just want to put it out there.
Wait, that's a good name though. That sounds like a.
I want to put it out. I'm nowhere near qualified to be giving advice or anything like that. But I'm always keen to try.
Love
and help
Line
out,
with Roger G. It's got a nice ring to it, man.
Love Line with Roger G.
I think we can do it.
I can picture the poster already. Maybe like some nice pink love hearts kind of thing. Maybe on a Friday night, kind of. If you got a glass of wine, batch him speaking to you. If you got a nice bottle and you need some relationship advice, fucking come have a chat with me.
There we go. Awesome. Thanks for coming in, brother.
No worries.
Thanks great to see you. What are your handles? Give us your socials. so we can find you online. Like I'll put links in the description, all that, but just tell everyone.
So Instagram is rogerg.ukb. Facebook should just be Roger G, or you can add me, Gregor Brown. I'm usually pretty open to accepting anyone.
Join the Greg posting group too.
Yeah, the Greg posting, the ogre posting group.
That's pretty niche though. There's not many people. It's just people like. There's not many people in that group.
No, it's just a tight bunch.
Tight bunch. But if you can find the Greg posting group and get accepted, there's some gold in there. There's some fucking gold.
Yeah. And then last SoundCloud should just be if you look up Roger G.
Yeah.
On the SoundCloud, and I should have hopefully Selector 3. Well, as I said, it should be out this afternoon. So when this goes out, it should be out for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, cool.
But thanks again for having me. It's been mint.
Too easy, man. Thanks for coming in.
Beautiful.
Good to catch up and have a beer.
Yeah, fuck, I've been very long overdue, so I'm glad we managed to get it done, and I'm sure we'll have many more.
Kate's going to be so jealous that you got in on one before. Because we've been talking about doing one for ages. We're going to do the hot wing challenge.
The hot wing challenge.
Yeah, it's like eat like the chicken wings, like with real spicy ones, and get spicier. But we need an assistant for that. Who can bring and cook the hot wings? So we're working.
Oh, look, I won't. Look, I have no idea how to fucking cook.
No, I don't want you to be here.
I want to
get some hot chicken or something.
I can be a hot chick.
Sure you can.
No, but I'll eat whatever leftover wings are.
Yeah, he's like, I'll eat some. Yeah. Sweet. Well, thanks for coming in, man.
No
have a good weekend, and everyone go out there and check out the Selector mix. It'll be out now, so go check it out. What's it called? Selector. It's on your SoundCloud.
Yeah, Selector 003. So if you just look at my SoundCloud, Roger G, it should be pinned on my spotlight. Yeah. Tell me what you think. I'm always open to feedback and criticism, and everything like that. So, but yeah, beautiful.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good day or night, whatever you're doing. Have a good one.
Beautiful.